for Stewarts Creek. These are uncharted waters for this program. How do the Redhawks avoid getting too high and getting too low?
Yeah, so I stole this from a Tim Corbinism, right? 2016, we had to play Ole Miss. They just won the national championship in baseball at Vanderbilt. And, well, they also had a player death that season, a very close friend of mine. So they had the highs, they had the lows. But the way they won that championship, he explained, was they always got back to the middle. It's okay to reach those points. Maybe Stewarts Creek, they go up a little bit, 21-0 or something. You can't get too comfortable. You have to get back to the middle. Maybe they get behind. They get a little low. You got to control those emotions, get back to the middle.
Now for our players to watch, for Brentwood, if they want to find that balance, it's got to come through running back Gavin Nelson, a dual threat running back. He leads them in rushing and receiving.
You said it, and Gavin Nelson was our player to watch here a few weeks ago when we had Brentwood on the broadcast, and he's still our player to watch coming up. He is a dual threat, but they need to establish him in the run as early as possible tonight.
And for Stewarts Creek, it is Caleb Floyd. Now he's part of a very threatening 1-2 punch at running back, but this guy's got over 1,200 yards of total offense, 23 total touchdowns.
And you said it. I mean, we have a good dual threat here. We went with Floyd because he is the touchdown guy. When they need a guy who's maybe on the first down, the goal line, the score, the red zone, when things get serious, they'll take it to Floyd, and that's a huge responsibility for him tonight as they look for their second playoff win in school history.
There's a chill in the air and a nervous energy in this building. Can't wait to get to kickoff. But before that, let's bring in the third member of our team tonight, Sammy Kincaid, with an injury update. Go again.
Wow.
Okay.
One more.
We're going to go during the national anthem?
Ooh.
Hey.
Brutal.
No, we could beat it. We could beat it. I don't see no flags.
How many touchdowns does Floyd have? 20-something?
23 total.
Okay, 23. I was about to say 24. Good thing I didn't say it.
Badger! We need Badger.
I can try to go like.
Oh, hey, there she is.
Check. This is blowing up, though.
All right, we got it.
You're about to lose me, though. This is blowing up. I got to come this way. Is this where the team's running out? Love that. This is about to blow. But this is about to blow up, and the team's about to run through here.
We can beat it. We can beat it.
You're trying to get me run over 2 weeks in a row.
We're not beating
Let's do it.
Yeah, you just may have people running in front of me.
We got it.
The Tennessee Army National Guard is proud to support Middle Tennessee high schools and high school athletics.
We're working together to help schools and students get the most out of their high school years on and off the field.
The Tennessee Army National Guard is honored to join forces with MyTV 30 and Friday Night Rivals to support the communities we live in, work in, and we serve in. Tennessee Army National Guard is volunteer strong.
Tonight's Friday Night Rivals matchup between two of Middle Tennessee's finest high schools is brought to you by the Tennessee Army National Guard and Bart Durham Injury Law.
The drive to the Blue Cross Bowl continues as tonight we make a stop in the second round of the 6A playoffs. The 10-1 Stewarts Creek Redhawks host the 9-2 Brentwood Bruins for a spot in the quarterfinals on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law here on MyTV 30. And it is so great to have you with us tonight, everybody. He is former Vanderbilt Commodore Bruno Reagan. I'm Lucas Panzica as we come to you from Stewarts Creek High School. We're right here on this field. The Redhawks won their first playoff game in school history just a week ago over Independence, Bruno. Tonight they're looking to continue to make history against a Brentwood team that's been here before and trying to get back to the state championship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The status quo is being challenged tonight. Brentwood, they're the provincial gatekeepers right now, having been there, done that. Stewarts Creek, they're the new kid on the block, looking to change things up here in 6A football.
Takes us to the keys to the game for the Brentwood Bruins coming in under head coach Clint Finch. We saw them just 2 weeks ago, and Coach Finch told us they were forced into a one-dimensional game against the Raptors. Got to avoid that and find that balance tonight.
Yeah, Ravenwood had a lot of explosive plays very early in that game, so it caused Brentwood to go away from establishing the run and trying to really settle on the pass. Tonight, they need to establish that run early so they can use the pass game to their advantage.
And for Stewarts Creek, these are uncharted waters, right? Got to avoid getting too high and getting too low in terms of the emotions that come into play.
Absolutely. I stole this as a Tim Corbinism. He told us before he played Ole Miss in 2016, Vanderbilt, legendary baseball coach. 2014, they won the national championship, right? Then they had a player death, so they've experienced the highs and the lows. For Stewarts Creek, if they get out to an early lead, they can't get too high. If they get a little bit skunked or they go into halftime without the lead, they can't get too low. They're going to perform their best when they're at the middle and their emotions are in check.
Now for the players to watch. For Brentwood, it's running back Gavin Nelson. As we talk about establishing that balance, they got to do it through their senior leader. He's both their lead rusher and lead receiver.
Absolutely. And with Nelson, too, he might be a dual threat, but we really need to see him in the running game tonight. When we had Brentwood on a few weeks ago, he was our player to watch, but they nullified him in the rush game. They need to have him on the ground tonight.
And for Stewarts Creek, it's senior back Caleb Floyd, part of a dangerous 1-2 punch at running back, but he's the goal line guy. 23 total touchdowns on the season.
Absolutely. You said it. Floyd has 23 touchdowns. So when they go in on the red zone, are they going for the first down? Are they going for the touchdown? The ball is going to get past to Floyd. That's a big responsibility, especially when you're looking for only your second playoff win in school history.
There is a chill in the air and a nervous energy in this building tonight. They look to continue to make history in just a few moments. But before kickoff, we'll bring in the third member of our crew, Sammy Kincaid, who has an injury update.
Hey guys, for the Bart Durham injury update, let's start out on the Brentwood side. Tonight, Will Turner, he will be out due to sickness. That is the only player that will be missing on the Brentwood side of the ball. Let's switch over to Stewarts Creek. They're going to have 3 players out on the defensive side of the ball. Tonight, Cannell St. Swire as well as Taj Roseburg. They will both be out with ankle injuries, as well as Jonathan Waller. He broke his leg last week in round 1 of the playoffs. That's your Bart Durham injury update. Whenever we come back from this break, we're going to have a whole lot more for you. Kickoff, coin toss. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Tennessee high schools and high school athletics. The Tennessee Army National Guard is proud to support Middle Tennessee high schools and high school athletics.
We're working together to help schools and students get the most out of their high school years on and off the field.
The Tennessee Army National Guard is honored to join forces with MyTV 30 and Friday Night Rivals to support the communities we live in, work in, and we serve in. Tennessee Army National Guard is volunteer strong.
Tonight's Friday Night Rivals matchup between two of Middle Tennessee's finest high schools is brought to you by the Tennessee Army National Guard and Bart Durham Injury Law.
The drive to the Blue Cross Bowl continues as tonight we make a stop in the second round of the 6A playoffs. The 10-1 Stewarts Creek Redhawks host the 9-2 Brentwood Bruins for a spot in the quarterfinals. On the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law, here on MyTV 30, and it is so great to have you with us tonight, everybody. He is former Vanderbilt Commodore Bruno Reagan. I'm Lucas Panzica as we come to you from Stewarts Creek High School. We're right here on this field. The Redhawks won their first playoff game in school history just a week ago over Independence, Bruno. Tonight they're looking to continue to make history against a Brentwood team that's been here before and trying to get back to the state championship.
Absolutely. The status quo is being challenged tonight. Brentwood, they're the provincial gatekeepers right now, having been there, done that. Stewarts Creek, they're the new kid on the block, looking to change things up here in 6A football.
Takes us to the keys to the game for the Brentwood Bruins coming in under head coach Clint Finch. We saw them just 2 weeks ago, and Coach Finch told us they were forced into a one-dimensional game against the Raptors. Got to avoid that and find that balance tonight.
Yeah, Ravenwood had a lot of explosive plays very early in that game, so it caused Brentwood to go away from establishing the run and trying to really settle on the pass. Tonight, they need to establish that run early so they can use the pass game to their advantage.
And for Stewarts Creek, these are uncharted waters, right? Got to avoid getting too high and getting too low in terms of the emotions that come into play.
Absolutely. I stole this as a Tim Corbinism. He told us before we played Ole Miss in 2016, Vanderbilt, legendary baseball coach. 2014, they won the national championship, right? Then they had a player death, so they'd experience the highs and the lows. For Stewarts Creek, if they get out to an early lead, they can't get too high. If they get a little bit skunked or they go into halftime without the lead, they can't get too low. They're going to perform their best when they're at the middle and their emotions are in check.
Now for the players to watch. For Brentwood, it's running back Gavin Nelson. As we talk about establishing that balance, they got to do it through their senior leader. He's both their lead rusher and lead receiver.
Absolutely. And with Nelson, too, he might be a dual threat, but we really need to see him in the running game tonight. When we had Brentwood on a few weeks ago, he was our player to watch, but they nullified him in the rush game. They need to have him on the ground tonight.
And for Stewarts Creek, it's senior back Caleb Floyd, part of a dangerous 1-2 punch at running back, but he's the goal line guy. 23 total touchdowns on the season.
Absolutely. You said it. Floyd has 23 touchdowns. So when they go in on the red zone, are they going for the first down? Are they going for the touchdown? The ball is going to get past to Floyd. That's a big responsibility, especially when you're looking for only your second playoff win in school history.
There is a chill in the air and a nervous energy in this building tonight. They look to continue to make history in just a few moments. But before kickoff, we'll bring in the third member of our crew, Sammy Kincaid, who has an injury update.
Hey guys, for the Bart Durham injury update, let's start out on the Brentwood side. Tonight, Will Turner, he will be out due to sickness. That is the only player that will be missing on the Brentwood side of the ball. Let's switch over to Stewarts Creek. They're going to have 3 players out on the defensive side of the ball. Tonight, Kennell St. Swire as well as Taj Roseburg. They will both be out with ankle injuries, as well as Jonathan Waller. He broke his leg last week in round 1 of the playoffs. That's your Bart Durham injury update. Whenever we come back from this break, we're going to have a whole lot more for you. Kickoff, coin toss. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
You can feel it in the air. Playoff football in Middle Tennessee. The Stewarts Creek Redhawks in search of the first quarterfinal berth in school history. Ready to host the second round against the visiting Brentwood Bruins. A storied 6A program looking to get back to the state championship game for the first time since only 2020. But before kickoff, we go down to the field with our referee, Scott Hopper, for the Tennessee Army National Guard coin toss.
Good deal. Gentlemen, this is the coin toss. Brentwood, you're the visiting team, so you'll be calling it. That is heads. That is tails. Heads, tails. What's going to be your call?
Heads.
Heads? All right. If I drop it, we'll flip it again. And it is tails. So you guys have won. You know what you want to do? You're going to defer. All right. Stand right there. Stewarts Creek is 1, and they will defer. You guys are going to want the ball, right? So which way do you want to kick it?
Tails never fails for Stewarts Creek. They win the toss, defer to the second half. We will see the Brentwood offense to start things off on a crisp fall night in Smyrna, Tennessee. 52 degrees under a beautiful sky. A quarterfinal berth on the line. Alongside Bruno Reagan in the booth, I'm Lucas Panzica, Sammy Kincaid down on the sidelines. And Bruno, these are the type of games you dream about as a high school football player for Stewarts Creek. Uncharted territory for head coach Clint Finch in the Brentwood Bruins. It's trying to get back to Chattanooga.
Absolutely. I mean, for Brentwood, they have the possession first, right? So they're going to come out, as we talked in our pregame for their key, they're going to try and stay balanced, especially early. They have to get the running game going with our player to watch, Galvin Nelson, the senior back. Now, he can be a dual threat, too. So if they do have success with that run game, then we'll see him try maybe their second and longs throw out to the pass game.
Kicker Landon Wharf tees up the opening kickoff on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. 6A second round action here on My TV 30. Let's have some fun. Clayton Merrill back deep to receive. Ball is knuckled to the 15. Caught low by Merrill as he jets to the sideline. Still up at the 30. There goes Merrill. At the 40, he scampers out of bounds. And it's excellent field position to start for the Brentwood Bruins. A talented return man, Clayton Merrill, with a 33-yard run back.
And Merrill had a really good recovery there of the football. The kick was a really good kick. About to the 10-yard line, a little low. Merrill's able to recover it, crosses the field, able to start Brentwood off at the 44-yard line. Good field position for this Bruins offense.
An offense coordinated by head coach Clint Finch comes out, a group that's averaged 26 points per game, and junior J.C. White has grabbed a hold of this starting quarterback job after trading reps with senior Cannon Kinder earlier in the year. He'll lead them here on 1st and 10. Brentwood starting on its own 44. Empty backfield for the quick screen. Trying to get it into the hands of Gavin Nelson early. It falls incomplete, bringing up 2nd and 10. Take a look at the starting lineups presented by BMC Metalworks. First with the Brentwood offense, J.C. White as the quarterback. Gavin Nelson, our player to watch. He's the lead rusher and receiver for this team, but they want to get the ball into number 4's hands. Clayton Merrill, very dangerous on the outside, like you saw in that kick return.
Absolutely. He'll have a way to make an impact on the game, not only in special teams, but on the offensive side of the football as well.
2nd and 10 after the first down incompletion. White with the quarterback keeper right up the middle has the seam. J.C. White is tackled down at the 40. Ball is loose. Looks like Brentwood was able to hang on to it. Potentially dangerous moment there for the Bruins. No official ruling quite yet. Looks like there's a flag down in the backfield as well.
We saw this when Brentwood struggled to get their normal run game going. J.C. White actually showed off a little bit with his legs. It looks like they're trying to ring up and design some more stuff. As the call on the field, Lucas, seems to be a false start on the Bruins offense, and they'll be backed up here for a 1st and long.
Very late procedural penalty. Looked like White had hit the ground with the football anyway. So that sets Brentwood back to their own 39-yard line. It's an offense that hasn't been consistent enough for head coach Clint Finch. Put up 37 last week in a playoff win over Smyrna, but 2 touchdowns came from the defense with a scoop and score and a pick 6. So on 2nd down, a timeout on the field. An early one taken by Brentwood, first one of the game, and Clint Finch already wants to talk to his offensive unit.
Well, first impressions are everything, Lucas. And when you talk about football, your first drive can mean a lot to the morale of your team, especially in a high-stakes game where a loser goes home, right? So Coach Finch just wants to try and get everybody on the same page and maybe get a game plan up to get out of this first down, at least cross the field.
There's Stewarts Creek head coach Ben Caudill ready to send his defense back out on the field. We'll look at the starting lineups, again, presented by BMC Metalworks. 3 defensive starters out due to injury tonight, but still a dangerous front. Number 7, Keelan Harris, the senior, is the lead tackler on this team. Offers from EKU and Arkansas State, and their goal is to win the matchup up front against a talented and versatile Brentwood offensive line.
And they did a good job attacking the edges right now, so they show that they have an aggressiveness to them on the 2nd and 3rd levels. They're just going to have to try and stall this Brentwood run game as much as possible.
They were taking a look on the sideline at J.C. White's eye, it seems, during that timeout. But they'll send number 16 back out for 2nd and 15. Little trickery here. He fakes the end around and pitches it right up to Merrill, and it is read well by the Stewarts Creek defense. Swarming to the football there. The stop made by Jonathan Hadley.
And you said it. They're going to try to get the football not only to Nelson but also to Merrill. He has more utility outside of the special teams role. But right there, Stewarts Creek is doing a really good job of being aggressive in the backfield, forcing guys off of their track.
Daniel Johnson got to him first to slow him down. Hadley cleaned it up, and it's 3rd and long. Brentwood going backwards on the opening series. 3rd and 17. White looking under pressure, still on his feet. J.C. White escapes. Looking downfield, throws and connects with Jones Merrill, who's caught short of the line to gain. The sophomore, younger brother of senior Clayton Merrill. Not enough for the first down. And Brentwood will send out the punt team. J.C. White with forever in the pocket.
It looks like J.C. White is going to make a Johnny Manziel, Diego Pavia style play, getting out of the pocket and shedding some rushers, but he is able to connect down the field. But the penalties that back them up, it just wasn't enough to get close to the first down sticks.
Cannon Kinder, who's played quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and punter for this Brentwood team, is there to send it away, but play is blown dead.
Snap, false start on the offense. Remains 4th down.
2nd one against the Bruins on this opening series, and they'll back it up for 4th and 11.
Hey, remember, get back to the middle, right? Don't get too high, don't get too low. This isn't the first possession you want. Brentwood will have to rely on the defense to kind of make up some ground and get some momentum back.
Jeremy Smith back to receive, a dangerous return man for Stewarts Creek. He'll signal the fair catch, but let it bounce. So Stewarts Creek will send out its offense after a defensive stop on the opening possession. The Redhawks 10-1, coming off the first region championship in school history, a school that's been open since 2013. 5-0 in Region 5 6A. And the offense will huddle up around head coach and play caller Ben Caudill. Junior quarterback Jerry Taylor leads the way. He's improved throughout the course of the year. Coach Caudill saying that the game's just really slowed down for him and does a nice job of just getting the ball into the hands of his playmakers. They'll bunch it up here for the first offensive snap of the game for the Redhawks. Trying to get Smith out on the edge. Brentwood's all over it. Forward progress will rule him down at about the 30. Was wrapped up by Parker Emerson. Number 10, William Stockoff, got there first. The senior lead tackler for the Bruins. Look at the Stewarts Creek offensive starters, presented by BMC Metalworks. Jerry Taylor, number 1, Caleb Floyd, and number 8, Jeremy Smith have powered this offense all season long.
Yeah, and you'll constantly hear when you have 2 back systems, this guy's the Thunder and this guy's the Lightning. Well, both these guys just run the football really dang well. They like going to one when they get into scoring positions or first down positions, but don't let that fool you that they're in a 2-back system and they're different. They have very similar skill sets.
They'll give to Floyd here as he rolls off a tackle, churning those legs across the 45. Tough run by Caleb Floyd, 16 yards for the senior.
A big bite of momentum here for Floyd as we take a look. They're able to handle the low snap and the left side of the edge right there. If you're the end man on the line of scrimmage from a defensive standpoint on Brentwood, you have to control the outside. The entire outside of that line got washed down, and Caleb Floyd is able to get a full head of steam and the first down for his unit.
Our player to watch coming in. 916 rush yards, 330 receiving yards on the season coming into the game. He'll get his second carry of the night. Works his way across midfield to set up 2nd and 5 for the Stewarts Creek Redhawks. Good start to the drive for Stewarts Creek. Brentwood's defense, which has been a strength for them all season long, looking to bow their necks here. Good front with Greer, Western Kentucky commit Kai Micatrato up front, And Mason Ball, number 6, the cornerback, the only returning starter for this defense at the start of the season, but the whole unit's been a very pleasant surprise for head coach Clint Finch. Floyd again, straight into a pile, ruled down at the 45. And Stewarts Creek able to stay ahead of the sticks here, set up 3rd and short.
Yeah, they're sticking a lot to the gap scheme in the run. So right before this, they had the counter series where they got the lead puller as a kick out, and then they have a pull-up guy. That one looked like more of a trap series. I think Stewarts Creek is doing really well, and they're playing efficient. They could use a little more displacement at the point of attack.
Ben Caudill in year 4 as the head coach of the Red Hawks, 33-21 in that time, and has just built up this program with gradual progress year over year and really breaking through with a 10-win campaign in 2024. They'll run Floyd again on that left side, and he is stopped short of the first down, but Caleb Floyd slow to get up here after the play. So an early injury timeout as they'll tend to the Stewarts Creek star running back. Crowd goes silent here at Stewarts Creek High School as they look at the senior. We'll take a break. When we come back, give you an update on number 1 in Stewarts Creek faces a 4th down near midfield on MyTV 30. Our United States Marines national anthem moment right before a 2nd round playoff matchup in the 6A class. A packed Stewarts Creek crowd eagerly awaiting kickoff in the first ever 2nd round matchup happening at Stewarts Creek High School. Welcome back, the Red Hawks facing a 4th down in Brentwood territory, and the offense will take the field. Caleb Floyd, the star senior running back we saw leave the field injured before going to break. He's being tended to on the near sideline with what appears to be a lower right leg injury. We'll see if we can't get an update from Sammy Kincaid shortly. Big 4th and 1 early here for the Red Hawks. Taylor under center. Jeremy Smith plunges into the pile. It's going to be close. Brentwood signaling it's their football, and we'll see where they spot it here.
The spot from initial appearance does seem to be in Brentwood's favor.
There you see Stewarts Creek trainers looking at Caleb Floyd, and they're going to say it's short. Brentwood football, the Bruins defense forces the turnover on downs, and they'll take over at their own 45.
So Brentwood does a really good job on the short yardage. They take a little bit of a risk, and they angle their interior linemen inside. So that tackle is made by Parker Emerson coming down from the free safety position, but that defensive line slanting inwards causes the offensive lineman to get no vertical movement.
So Caudill elects to go for it on 4th down. And Brentwood's offense back on the field for the second time. White sends Nelson in motion. Quarterback keeper. And he is stood up. Thrown down in the backfield. Marcel Gordon, the senior linebacker. No gain on the play. It brings up 2nd and 10.
If you're going to try and run the football at this level right now, even in 6A football, even in the second round against a team like Stewarts Creek, you have to be aggressive on those counter plays. That's a pin pull scheme they had right there with their quarterback, J.C. White, as the designated rusher. But Stewarts Creek is attacking him at the line of scrimmage. Brentwood needs to bring the same energy.
White under pressure again, running backwards. And he guns it into the left flat, falls incomplete. That time the pressure off the edge brought by Grady Harvey, the senior outside linebacker. Experienced player bringing the heat.
Lucas, we're just seeing the Stewarts Creek defense kind of enforce their will on the Brentwood offense.
Let's quickly go down to Sammy Kincaid for an update on Stewarts Creek running back Caleb Floyd.
Hey guys, great news about Caleb Floyd. He is going to be able to return to the game. He was just up running around. They were taking a look at his left knee, but great news that he is going to be able to return and things look fine.
Thanks, Sammy. That is big for the man with 23 total touchdowns this season. Brentwood dumps it down to Nelson. He battles his way into Stewarts Creek territory. Gain of 11 and a BMC Metalworks first down for the Bruins. BMC Metalworks, an industry leader in CNC machining and steel fabrication services, celebrating its 50th year anniversary.
We mentioned Nelson is not only a rushing threat, but he's also a great pass threat, all right? And they want to get Nelson on the ground as much as they can, but they have to go to Nelson to avoid their second 3-and-out in a row. Good for Brentwood to cross midfield.
Puts him at 450 receiving yards on the year. Play action. They'll wing it out to Bowen Clunan, and the ball is out. Stewarts Creek says they have it, and they do. The Redhawks defense comes up with the turnover. Little pass into the left flat to the senior tight end. Ball ends up on the turf. And the fumble is ripped out by Daniel Johnson, the junior outside linebacker.
That's just a great job by Johnson. The ball was high and tight, but he's able to get his extremities around the offensive football player and just rip the football out. And the number one margin of win and loss in football is the turnover margin. So if Stewarts Creek can control this turnover margin, really take advantage of this field position they have, this is a good chance for them to start getting some momentum.
Timeout on the field. Stewarts Creek takes its first one of the first half. So we'll take one with them. Scoreless early in the second round of the 6A playoffs here on MyTV 30.
Welcome back to Stewarts Creek, where we currently have a scoreless game against Brentwood, and I'm pleased to be joined by Staff Sergeant Vanazra Glenn, and thank you so much for your service, first of all, and thank you also to the Tennessee Army National Guard for being a sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. But first off, can you please tell me what is different about the Tennessee Army National Guard from other military branches?
I'd say the biggest difference is soldiers have the opportunity to serve in their community as well as state level and national level, so federally, as well as they get the opportunity to have part-time benefits with full-time options and full-time benefits. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Awesome. And I hear there's a lot of jobs with the Tennessee Army National Guard. What are some of those jobs?
So some of the jobs, so obviously we have over 199 jobs to choose from. So, you know, we have our well-known jobs, infantry, engineering, field artillery, military police, as well as some are not so well-known, so HR, finance, aviation. So we have, a plethora, cyber, so many options.
We even met somebody that did media one week, so it's pretty cool how many options there are. But everyone talks about the benefits of being in the military, but what benefits are specific to the Tennessee Army National Guard?
I would say my favorite one has to be the Tennessee Strong. It literally allows soldiers to be able to go to school. I'd say all public universities, they get 100% tuition, as well as they can get their bachelor's all the way up to their master's. So it gives so many options for soldiers, and only requirement is just being a part of the National Guard.
That's incredible that is a benefit. And thank you again so much for your service and for joining me tonight. And thank you again to the Tennessee Army National Guard for being a sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. Guys, up to you.
Thank you, Sammy. Stewarts Creek takes over after the forced fumble, ripped out by Daniel Johnson, recovered by Kalen Harris. The offense back out onto the field. The Redhawks for their second possession. Little flip pass to Jeremy Smith around the left side. Flag is down in the backfield. And we'll get the call from referee Scott Hopper.
Looks to be in the area of offensive holding.
Exactly what is signaled.
Holding on number 5. Remains first down.
They called that one on number 5 for Stewarts Creek, Marcel Gordon. And I always say, Lucas, a lot of the holdings you see, it's really not even on the offensive line. It's when you swing it outside to guys who maybe don't practice that every day, an individual, the receivers, the tight ends, edge guys who maybe get off the ball late for a lack of hearing the canes. There's a multitude of reasons, but the edge is where you see most of these holdings get called.
1st and 20, Stewarts Creek backed up to its own 34. Taylor, play action, floats it out to Floyd, has some space at the sideline, and he takes free safety Parker Emerson for a short ride, but gets out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Gain of 12 to get back the penalty yardage.
One thing I like about Stewarts Creek is how they really have mastered their personnel grouping. You're seeing them in a lot of 22 personnel. They got 2 tight ends, 2 backs, and they use a lot of backfield movement, formations, diversions to mask the fact that the same guy, Floyd, is going to get the ball every single time.
Stewarts Creek trying to flex the strength that has been first quarter scoring margin for them all year. They've outscored opponents in the first quarter 80-7 this season. 2nd and 8. Another give to Floyd. And he's greeted by a big bear hug in the middle of that Brentwood defensive line. Mason Ray and Grant Weber come down for the stop. Brings up 3rd and 7.
Going to be interesting here because Stewarts Creek really relies on their run game, but now they're in a forced passing down. They'll probably shift to maybe a 12 or even 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 1 back, and let the ball get in the hands of their quarterback, Jerry Taylor.
Taylor with 1,134 pass yards this season, completing 58% of his passes, 15 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Handles the low snap, throws on the run, has a man deep. It's caught at the 25. Flag is down and thrown out of bounds is Kai Mangrum. He spotted at the 21 of Brentwood, and it looks like it might be a defensive penalty.
I think you're right, Lucas. It looked like Kai Mangrum, when he went up for the football, it was one of those things where it's underthrown, so he comes back for it. The Brentwood defender gets his hands on a little too early.
Pass interference on the defense, number 6. That penalty is declined. First down.
32-yard gain for Kai Mangrum, and Stewarts Creek is in business. There you see Clint Finch, head coach of Brentwood on the left, Ben Caudill on the right, 2 former colleagues at Brentwood High School when both were assistants under Ron Crawford in his legendary run at Brentwood.
I'll tell you, that play we just saw, that's one of the reasons I love Tennessee high school football. I don't know how many times the down and distance is 3rd and 7, and they're in 23 personnel, 2 tight ends, 3 backs, and they just tell Kai Mangrum, you're going to be the one man down the field, and they leave him in man coverage.
Mason Ball was on the coverage. Here's a give to Jeremy Smith. Won't get much, maybe half a yard on the play. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10. They'll say no gain. Big point of emphasis for Stewarts Creek is finishing drives once they get into the red zone. Still on the cusp of it now, but we got to see the Redhawks back in week 4 in a big win over Rockville, 27-7, but had 2 possessions inside the 10 that didn't result in touchdowns. Another one last week in the playoff win over Independence, getting inside the 10, unable to get into the end zone. Head coach Ben Caudill says that's been a big point of emphasis all week long.
Imperative they do it off the back of the turnover, their defense force as well.
Floyd is brought down. Kai Micatrato, the nose tackle, stuffs him up front, and it brings up 3rd and 10.
Kai Micatrato is a young man that's going to be playing some more football. When he gets a little older, he'll be going to Western Kentucky University, just a little bit up north. Very nice school. Great level of football, and you see right there, he gets his hands on his chest and sheds them off early, staying at the line of scrimmage level. Very good play from the defensive lineman.
And this Brentwood defensive line has stepped up all season. 3rd and 10 with a minute to go in the first quarter. Taylor fakes a give. Going to throw on the run again. Has a man. It's caught. First down, Stewarts Creek. The tight end, Grady Harvey. His 11th catch of the season. And it's a BMC Metalworks first down, Redhawks.
And what about Jerry Taylor? When we first had Stewarts Creek on the broadcast earlier in the season, we didn't talk about Taylor as much going into the game, but right now he's really leading and saving the drives when his number is called for the Stewarts Creek team, who's looking for only their 2nd win in the playoffs in school history.
First one came a week ago against Independence, 20-14.
You see Grady Harvey right there. Kind of messes up his touchdown and catch ratio a little bit with that reception.
5 touchdowns on 10 catches coming into tonight. Caleb Floyd able to tumble down inside the 5. And it'll bring up 2nd and goal. So we go right back to that conversation of finishing drives inside the 10, and Stewarts Creek will get a chance to reverse that trend on the other side. The first quarter in the books, scoreless in the 2nd round of the 6A playoffs between Stewarts Creek and Brentwood on MyTV 30. After a scoreless first quarter, Stewarts Creek drawing up a play for 2nd and goal on the Brentwood 3. Trying to punch first here in the second round of the 6A playoffs. Welcome back on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. Lucas Panzica, Bruno Reagan in the booth with you. Sammy Kincaid patrolling the sidelines out here in Rutherford County. Number 1, Caleb Floyd, has been the goal line back for Stewarts Creek all season. 19 rushing touchdowns. They'll line him up in the Wildcat. Right up the gut. Floyd trying to pick his way through. And that pile moves backwards.
Floyd on the keeper, no gain on the play.
Guess who? At the point of attack is Kai Micatrato, defensive lineman who made another impressive stop here earlier in this drive before they flipped the field in the first quarter.
Take a look around the Mid-State at some 6A scores. The winner of this game will face the winner between Ravenwood and Franklin. 3-point advantage for the Raptors in the first half. Of course, Brentwood trying to force a Battle of the Woods rematch as Oakland leads Mount Juliet 10-6. Oakland trying to force a potential rematch with Riverdale. Either way, they'll meet a Murfreesboro rival. Pitch to Jeremy Smith on the left side. Able to stay on his feet, dives for the pylon, down at the 1. They will rule him short, and it sets up 4th and goal for Stewarts Creek.
You saw Stewarts Creek right there. They try to catch Brentwood off guard with a shift in their formation, overload on the left side to the open field. And interestingly enough, they go to Jeremy Smith, who only has 2 touchdowns on the season compared to Floyd. But he reaches out for the pylon. Sadly, he has the ball in possession of the other hand that he reaches out with. He reaches out with his open hand. You have to get the ball across the pylon, so it will be at the 1.
The safety Parker Emerson did just enough to impede his progress around that left side. So offense on the field, but Stewarts Creek will take its 2nd timeout of the first half. To talk about it, big 4th and goal coming up. Redhawks trying to take the lead when we come back on My TV 30. Stewarts Creek setting up a 4th and goal on the 1 to try and strike first. But first, we take a break for financial literacy with Wilson Bank and Trust.
Every great football team plans and prepares for all situations. At Wilson Bank and Trust, we help you prepare for life's expected and unexpected events with our savings accounts. Some popular savings options include money markets and certificates of deposit. With a savings account, you will earn interest, which means your money is constantly growing. Like every great coach knows their team, we know our community. We understand your needs and the winning plays to help you achieve success. Let's craft a financial strategy that fits you.
Wilson Bank and Trust, proud to sponsor local schools and student athletes both on and off the field. Stewarts Creek taking its 2nd time out of the half to talk about this, Bruno. 4th and goal on about half the 1-yard line. Offense coming back out on the field, trying to get that scoring inside the 10 monkey off their backs here.
Stewarts Creek hosting this playoff game, but only off the tails of their first playoff win in school history. They come into this drive off the backs of a turnover. Some good throws by quarterback Jerry Taylor. Now they're looking to finish with as much momentum as possible with a 4th down score going up 7-0.
They put Floyd in the Wildcat again. But early movement on the right side.
To the snap. False start on the offense. And made 4th down.
Hey, you know what? Hey, it's for both teams. As they called that on the right tackle, Jordan Shaw, the junior offensive lineman. Take a look at the right side of your screen. Excuse me, that's actually number 58, I believe, for Stewarts Creek. Josiah Hall, the junior, right guard. Just a little eager to get off the football, and I can relate to that young man, especially on the goal line.
So they'll opt for the chip shot field goal instead from kicker Landon Wharf. This one from 23 yards. Kick is up and perfect. Stewarts Creek strikes first. That's cash money from the sophomore kicker, and the Redhawks take a second quarter lead.
I gotta say, it's specialists. Can't live with them. Can't live with them. What can you do? But at the same time, he put Stewarts Creek up 3-0 in this game. When his number's called, he does get the money. Landon Wharf, the sophomore, puts Stewarts Creek on the board first here.
Hey, can't knock the confidence. Wharf with only his 3rd field goal attempt of the season. And that one is true. So Brentwood will get it back, facing its first deficit of the night.
That's something we haven't been lacking, Lucas, is a higher level of special teams here on Friday Night Rivals. All through the season, we've seen some impressive consistency, kicking. I don't know what it is or what they're feeding these kids or what's in the juice.
Gavin Nelson is back to return now for Brentwood. Standing on the 15. Merrill a little deeper on the 5, and it will go to Merrill here. Had a 33-yard return on the opening kickoff. As he ranges to the sideline and accelerates past the 35. Another good one from the senior committed to play for Austin Peay. Go back down to Sammy Kincaid on the sideline.
Hey guys, you talk about how Stewarts Creek gets on the board first. Well, it's been a year of first is how Coach Caudell has described this season. He says at the Rockville game that whenever we saw them last, it was the first time they put everything together and the cards started falling for them. It's their first year hosting a playoff game, first time winning a playoff game, and they want the first to continue. Also for Coach Caudell, it was a first for him earlier on in the season. He had his first daughter, Sally, with his wife, Alice.
Very cool, Sammy. Been a great growth from this Stewarts Creek program in year 4 of the Ben Caudill era. Nelson working behind right guard. Good first down carry. Picking up 6.
It was a little interesting, too. If you looked at the mesh where quarterback J.C. White and Nelson had an exchange, they were there for like 3 to 4 seconds. I almost thought the play was called dead, but they were just being really patient, trying to let their offensive line do the work. As we take a look at our scoring summary for Stewarts Creek, 10 plays, 50 yards, taking off 6.5 minutes off the clock.
2nd and 4. Faking the give to Nelson. White is stopped short. Bryson Hayes wrapped him up for his 40th tackle of the season. Brings up 3rd and 2 for the Brentwood offense.
I don't want to speculate too much, but as a guy with back problems, it looked like J.C. White might have strained his back a little bit there. Very, very much looked like me getting up in the mornings. Quarterback designed run on the QB trap there, taking it inside between the guards.
Junior quarterback. Hands off Nelson. Avoids the hit in the backfield and is able to power his way across midfield. A UA local 572 first down run by Gavin Nelson. Big time leader on this Brentwood team, keeps the drive alive.
Of all the airtime Brentwood has had on my TV 30 this season, I would say these past 3 to 4 plays is exactly what I expected them to look on offense. So maybe starting to get into a rhythm here in this second quarter.
Now working in Stewarts Creek territory. White flings it out to Merrill. He makes a move. And the recovery is made defensively by Kingston McQueen, the sophomore safety starting in place of the injured Taj Roseburg tonight. There's Clint Finch, longtime offensive coordinator at Brentwood under Ron Crawford. Very successful stint as the offensive play caller. He still does that, but now doing it as the head coach of the Bruins in year 4, 29-11 in that time.
Showing some good flexibility, too. You see him squatting on the heels of a fellow squatter. I can respect that.
White on the rollout. Pressure at his back. He feels it well and reverses field. Still alive, J.C. White. And now throws it away. And he must have covered about 80 yards scrambling around. It brings up 3rd and 7.
On the one hand, impressive by J.C. White to constantly keep moving. On the other hand, impressive by the Stewarts Creek coverage unit to not give him any options throughout that entire play call.
And there we see the illegal man downfield penalty against the Bruins. So Brentwood will pay for the extension of the play by the quarterback, J.C. White.
Ineligible receiver on the offense. Number 75 remains second down.
How hard is that as an offensive lineman when your quarterback's doing what he can to extend the play, but you know, at some point there's only so much you can do with the eyes in the back of your head?
It's almost impossible, and God bless him, I love him, great quarterback and great leader, but Kyle Shermer wasn't doing any of that, so I have very limited experience with that sort of movement in the pocket.
And White is stopped around the left side. It'll bring up 3rd and 11. Marcel Gordon comes downhill.
Keep your eye on number 5 out of the second level for Stewarts Creek. And Brentwood just a little shy on the point of attack. There's a lot of tiptoeing going on at the second level, whereas Stewarts Creek and Gordon specifically, they're coming downfield to fill these gaps hard. They're playing collision-style football. That's how you have to do it on defense. And when Brentwood is on the track for probably one of their better drives of the season, at least on our MyTV 30 cameras, they're facing another 3rd and long.
Line to gain is at the Stewarts Creek 37. White again extending the play and throws downfield. It's intercepted. Picked off by Kingston McQueen. The sophomore backup called into action and steps up with his first interception of the season.
And I don't want to get too meta here on the broadcast, but we're sharing the press box with a few different people, and there was an audible sort of angst to this play developing on the defense. And then Kingston McQueen just kind of hops in front of J.C. White's pass, floats a little bit too much, and forces the turnover for Stewarts Creek, who goes up 2-0 on the turnover margin very early.
It's only the 5th interception of the season thrown by J.C. White.
It reminded me of that clip where the Georgia guy's like, don't pick it up on special teams, and then he picks it up and returns it for a touchdown.
So on the sudden change, Jeremy Smith falls forward, picks up 4.
Jeremy Smith on the carry.
So Stewarts Creek back on the field on offense, and the last drive out, we talked about it. The issue of finishing drives after getting inside the 10-yard line. Procedure penalty inside the 1 backs them up. They're forced to kick the field goal. You got to think they're going to want to right that wrong here if they can get down deeper into Brentwood territory.
Absolutely. And when you're in the driver's seat, you're in the driver's seat, but there's sort of a mental need. You hate using that word need, but their defense got another turnover. When Brentwood was having a very good drive, as an offense, you have to try and reciprocate.
Smith shakes off Micatrato. He does not get away from Parker Emerson. Tackle back at the original line of scrimmage. It is a loss of 4. Emerson cleaning up the work done by Micatrato to slow down Smith.
I mean, what 2 better names than frankly, the 2 only ones we've called so far of the Brentwood defense. Not to say they're not playing as a good unit, but Emerson from his free safety position is covering so much ground to attack this run game. Good job on the flag, and good job by Micatrato to force him out to his outside defenders.
3rd and 10. And a timeout on the field taken by Stewarts Creek. Final 1.5.
Timeout called by Stewarts
Some
Creek.
visible frustration from the Stewarts Creek coaching staff. Something must have been up with personnel or alignment.
3-0. Low-scoring game here about midway through the second quarter in the second round of the 6A playoffs on MyTV 30.
Sponsor partners, the Tennessee Army National Guard, Bart Durham, and Sonic, who through their contributions to this program make these games possible for you, the viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to our Friday Night Rivals telecasts. The United States Naval Works, UA Local 572, Wilson Bank and Trust, the United States Marines, Western Kentucky University, Bass Tire, and Josh Houston and Associates. And we'd especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support.
Brentwood defense preparing for a 3rd and 10 with the Stewarts Creek offense still on the field. Just past the midway point of the second quarter. Let's run down to the sideline with Sammy Kincaid.
Hey, guys, former quarterback Cannon Kinder for Brentwood. He's such a good teammate. That was a really big message from Coach Finch earlier this week. He said before the Ravenwood game that we saw them last, Coach Finch went to him and said that JC was going to be the guy going forward, getting the reps. And Cannon said, I'm a stats guy, and his numbers are better, so I get it. I just want to play and help the team. Cannon felt he could contribute at wide receiver and running back, and Coach agreed. You even saw him at punter tonight. And as a QB, you have to know all the offensive positions. So Coach Finch said it's a great fit for him.
Thank you, Sammy. Yeah, Clint Finch could not say enough about do-it-all man Cannon Kinder for Brentwood, and they may utilize him on the next drive as the incompletion in the right flat will set up a punting situation.
Frustration from them on the sideline from the last defensive possession when they got the turnover, bleeding into this offensive possession. At the end of the day, they've been controlling the pacing of this game. They have to understand that and operate.
Booted away, and Merrill back deep to receive is swarmed and popped at the 30. Flag down late. Helmet is off, and Stewarts Creek players ushering for injury help. On special teams, looks like Marcel Gordon, who came down to make the play. So big collision on the punt return, and Stewarts Creek trainers will take a look.
There is also a flag down. The referee's talking about what we might see here potentially.
Scott Hopper talking it over with his crew, but nobody in this stadium worried about that right now. Marcel Gordon, the man down for Stewarts Creek, and great to see him helped up and walking around.
We called his name earlier this drive. He's playing very physical football.
Illegal helmet contact on the kicking team. First down.
So you saw right there, As far as the injury, Marcel Gordon just got caught by his own teammate on a side helmet shot. A little blindsided, was able to pop up. They will call an illegal helmet hit on Stewarts Creek. That will give Brentwood good field position, whereas Stewarts Creek, for the game up to this point, I would say they've controlled it. Not dominated, but controlled it. Brentwood with the opportunity to make a statement on this possession with only 5 minutes left to go in the second quarter.
15 yards moves Brentwood to its own 42. J.C. White, junior quarterback, hands off up the middle. Nelson ducks through tackles and is across the 40. The quick burst right up the middle from Gavin Nelson. 16-yard gain and a UA local 572 first down.
Stewarts Creek right here, they actually shoot number 7, the linebacker, Keelan Harris, the senior, and they're able to cover him up at the line of scrimmage. He isn't able to get into the backfield and reflect the play as much as he wants. And Nelson able to start this drive off for Brentwood with a good first down.
We'll go right back to the senior running back. Battles forward and gets down to the 32 of Stewarts Creek. Gain of 5. Nelson, 33 yards on just 4 carries so far tonight.
And that was a lot better from the Brentwood offensive line also on the pin pull gap style schemes, excuse me. They're going up the field and attacking the defenders rather than just waiting for the blocks to come to them.
And we'll see if Brentwood just keeps feeding the beast here with number 2 in the backfield. Starting to pick up some steam on this drive. They'll throw. On second down, do get it to Nelson, but he is hit immediately after the catch by Grady Harvey.
Grady Harvey, you see him called on his tight end position a lot. Here he is on the linebacker. And the Stewarts Creek defensive line does a good job of reading that it's a screen, getting back, forcing Nelson to the outside. And Harvey, knowing that Nelson only has one place to go, attacks the edge rather than chase him on his original point. Great overall play by the Stewarts Creek defense to force 3rd and long.
Needing 8 to move the chains. Pressure comes, hit as he throws, White into the end zone, incomplete. Was right on the fingertips of Clayton Merrill, but well defended by Stewarts Creek, and it's 4th down.
J.C. White got hit on the blind side right here, gets up a little shaken, still put a pretty good ball up into the air, but just a little bit an inch towards the Stewart Creek defender. Well defended by number 88 there, Dallas Johnson, the sophomore defensive back.
4 down territory for Brentwood. They are 55% on the year on 4th down. And they put in Cannon Kinder, the punter that has started games at quarterback this year for the Bruins. And that's why you have a weapon like that, to put him in like you're going to run a play and then pin Stewarts Creek down inside the 10.
Creek will take over at the 5-yard line.
Sammy gave us that hit on Kinder, who was in a dual quarterback system, now finding roles outside. And I can't state enough how much the numbers favor a defense with this sort of field position. If the ball starts and you only have 70 yards to cover as an offense compared to 95, the percentages go way up. Now that Stewarts Creek has 95 yards to cover, and they've shown that off of 2 turnovers, they still haven't been able to convert a touchdown, puts Brentwood in a good position. Brentwood also is still with 2 timeouts, so a potential to get the ball back maybe across midfield to make something happen if they can stick it on 3 downs.
Friends and former colleagues Ben Caudill and Clint Finch on opposite sidelines tonight. Stewarts Creek out of timeouts as they look to embark on a drive with 95 yards in front of them. Caleb Floyd grabs 2.
Stewarts Creek offensively isn't really built for a 2-minute drill to cover 90 yards. They might look to get the first down, at least get into punting position out of their own end zone, and then take it from there, maybe go into halftime with the short lead that they have if possible.
Caleb Floyd next to his quarterback, Jerry Taylor. And now Floyd in the Wildcat. Definitely some early movement. Plays blown dead.
You said it, Lucas. Looks like it's going to be a false start there on Stewarts Creek offense.
Now this is a Brentwood defense that has the ability to pin its ears back. Stewarts Creek trying to avoid a disaster situation here inside their own 5.
This can be disastrous for a few different things. When you're backed up on the goal line here, potential for that safety, if any of these Brentwood defensive players don't get blocked, then you also have to worry about your punting unit not having space to work with.
Hand it off. Getting a couple of the yards back from the penalty. Floyd works his way to the 5. And a timeout on the field. Second one of the half taken by Brentwood. With 99 ticks left on the first half clock. And Bruins facing a 3rd and 9 defensively. Got to feel good about their chances to get it back in good field position before halftime.
From a technical standpoint, Stewarts Creek will probably have to rush the football here. They want to force that Brentwood timeout because not assuming that their punter can't flip the field, but this would be a very, very high-level punt to try and get it out of a scoring position. Brentwood showing they have the ability with J.C. White to throw deep with the explosive play. You want them to use that timeout. That way, even if they do get an offensive possession, they're going to have to waste some clock or downs on clocking it, timing it, spiking the football.
So Brentwood's defense, group that has allowed just 11 points per game, coordinated by Michael Kane, who you see in the middle of the huddle there. Head coach Clint Finch says, as good a defensive coordinator as I have ever worked with. Don't go anywhere. When we reach halftime, the U.S. Navy halftime report, as we highlight this week's Sonic Scholar athletes, have participating school administrator interviews, plus highlights from here and across the country and much more. The United States Navy, forged by the sea. On 3rd and 9, Stewarts Creek spreads things out. They're going to throw. Taylor running away from pressure, turns into a runner and scampers out of bounds. Not going to get enough for the first down, and it stops the clock for Brentwood. So the Bruins will hang on to that 3rd timeout.
Yeah, as you see on our graphic, it says there's 2 timeouts. Brentwood only has 1 timeout. That's why I assumed that Stewarts Creek would rush the football, because I'd assume this punt also doesn't make it cross half field. Brentwood will have the opportunity to get some plays on the clock here and save that timeout potentially for a field goal. We see J.C. White, shadows of Dan Arlovsky on the other side of that white line in the back of the end zone, able to get outside.
The punt by R.C. Davis is fair caught by Merrill inside the Stewarts Creek 35. It is excellent field position for the Brentwood Bruins with just 1 timeout to go and 32 yards to cover.
Yeah, this is what I was worried about, Lucas, because let's say we get into a situation, Brentwood will still be able to rush the football here, get on. Well, what if one of the Stewarts Creek players made a great play in a sack? Well, now Brentwood has that timeout to kind of come together and reset, or even hit a field goal if it gets late into it. Now that 1 timeout could be huge here.
Here's 1st and 10. White pump fakes, directing traffic, and he dumps it down. Merrill scoots out of bounds. Clayton Merrill, part of a lineage running through Brentwood High School. His older brother Walker, who wore the exact same number, currently playing his college football at Wake Forest. And, of course, the younger Jones Merrill, wearing number 5, a sophomore on this Brentwood team that just continues to get better. Head coach Clint Finch says he has coached a Merrill every season since 2017 at Brentwood.
You ever ask him which is his favorite?
That's not what I thought to ask, as White looks to go to Jones Merrill, the youngest, as it's batted down. Clint Finch would have an answer prepared for that, I'm sure.
Keep your eyes. Number 80 right there, Grady Harvey. Man, I love this guy. If you remember him from our first game here on Friday Night Rivals with Stewarts Creek, he hit probably one of the biggest highlight catches in all of the country, not exaggerating, right? Well, he comes into this game, has the reception on the drive where they're doing really well off the first turnover, and now has made 2 big defensive plays.
3rd and 6. White with time. Throws incomplete. Jones Merrill and Hank DeGennaro were in the neighborhood, but it brings up 4th down with 1:03 on the clock. So Brentwood doesn't use their 3rd timeout, and they're going to kick it. This will be a 45-yard attempt by Keenan Fisher. Certainly within his range. Has a long of 48 this season. And it is wide left, no good. Stewarts Creek will keep the lead.
Stewarts Creek's going to get the football back with under a minute left. I'd have to imagine, Lucas, they'll try a rush play, maybe get back on the football again. You have to remember they have no timeouts, not really an offense built to go for outs or hitches on the edge and get out. We'll probably just see them running down to halftime. Let's take a look at that kick. A little bit of a tilt. Yep, we take a look at that hold. There was a bad initial placement on the hold. Had to recenter it. Always tough for a kicker, and he still almost gets it through the uprights. They had the distance a little bit to the left.
Puts Fisher at 8 of 12 on the season. Ball on the ground. Taylor able to scoop it off the ground. Under pressure. Jerry Taylor going to make something of it. Spins at the 25. And how about that run from Jerry Taylor? Rescuing near disaster. 13-yard pickup. A UA local 572 first down.
Jerry Taylor was one man away. Kai Mangrum did a good job of getting on the inside onto that fumble snap, but Mangrum actually falls right in front of the football, and Taylor, one man to beat. That's good pursuit right there by the Brentwood defense. Good effort to save what was a potential big play.
Showing off that athleticism. He's going to throw here and just dirts it under pressure. Taylor is down after the play, and a very late flag falls. Are they going to call a roughing the passer here?
So there's 2 options. The Brentwood players are begging for intentional grounding. The Stewarts Creek crowd is cheering for a roughing the passer. We'll get the official call as they talk through it.
Good to see Taylor helped up by teammates. And Scott Hopper will talk it over with his crew. Crew coming over from Memphis tonight for this second round 6A playoff matchup. Looks like he was getting ready to call a roughing the passer.
So they call an intentional grounding on Stewarts Creek. What happened was Taylor threw the football at the feet, and typically that's enough to avoid the grounding. Well, he threw the feet of an offensive lineman and an eligible receiver. That is, by rule, intentional grounding, where Stewarts Creek thought they got away with maybe a roughing the passer and some free yards.
Yeah, so the call does go against the Red Hawks.
That one will probably take us to halftime, Lucas.
Does stop the clock with 26.5 seconds. Stewarts Creek out of timeouts. We'll see if the Red Hawks keep it conservative here. Keep it on the ground. And Jeremy Smith is tackled near the 20. Brentwood will not use its 3rd and final timeout of the half. And that will send this to halftime. Fighting for a quarterfinal berth in the 6A class, Stewarts Creek leads Brentwood. A 23-yard field goal by Landon Wharf is the difference at the break. Stewarts Creek will get the ball to start the second half. And we'll hear from head coach Ben Caudill down with Sammy Kincaid here shortly as we get you ready for the United States Navy halftime report. Low-scoring affair. 2 strong defenses colliding out here in Rutherford County.
They're really playing physical football on the defensive side of the football. Offensively, both teams have had flashes of consistency and good, but if you want to win, especially at this level of football, it's got to be better.
Let's go down to the field. Sammy Kincaid alongside Stewarts Creek coach Ben Caudill.
Coach, Bruno just mentioned it. There's been flashes of good. What did you see in the first half that you're going to have to continue or maybe do better?
Yeah, I think our defense has done a great job against a really athletic quarterback. He's lost, gotten out of the pocket a little bit, but I don't feel like we've lost contain. I think our defense has done a great job getting off the field on third down, and that's certainly something we got to keep up.
And you're going into half with a 3-point lead. What's your message to your team? Because, it's a tough game right now.
Yeah, I think, hey, we'll take this. Second round of the playoffs against a team that was 13-1 last year. Really proud of our effort. We got to clean some stuff up, jumping off sides on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line, but really proud of our team, and we're going to have another great effort in the second half.
Well, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Navy halftime report coming up as we highlight this week's Sonic Scholar athletes, have participating school administrator interviews, plus highlights from here and across the nation, and more. The United States Navy, forged by the sea, halftime. Next, Stewarts Creek leads Brentwood 3-0.
You're watching the United States Navy Halftime Report. The United States Navy, forged by the sea.
Join Sonic throughout the 2024 Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals regular season as we recognize exceptional senior student athletes from each participating school. These nominated students are also eligible to win a $10,000 scholarship to be presented at the end of the season, courtesy of Sonic. Sonic is the proud sponsor of the Friday Night Rivals Scholar Athlete Program. Live free, eat Sonic.
This week's Friday Night Rivals Educator Spotlight is presented by Western Kentucky University. Climb higher at Western Kentucky University.
Welcome back to Stewarts Creek, and I am pleased to be joined by Brentwood's principal, Mr. Kevin Keidel, and thank you so much for joining me. And how does it feel to be a part of round 2 of the playoffs on Friday Night Rivals tonight?
Well, we're always so excited when you guys are out to watch our kids play and participate. It's so exciting to be part of it in the second round of the playoffs. It obviously feels like football weather tonight, so we're excited to make it this far. 2 great teams on the field today, Stewarts Creek and Brentwood, and I think it's going to go right down to the wire. So we're excited for the kids to be showcased. The fans are getting to see Stewarts Creek's band right now, and so it's just a great evening for high schools.
Yeah, no, it really does feel like football weather, but I hear that there's somebody special you want to talk about. Tell me about Mr. Parker.
Okay, James C. Parker was the first principal at Brentwood High School when it opened in 1982, and Brentwood High has played 502 football games since the school opened in 1982, and Mr. Parker has been at all 502 football games. When we were at the Ravenwood game just 2 weeks ago, that was number 500. So we were able to celebrate that with him last week, and it was just somebody that has so much spirit about an individual school. So it's really exciting that we were able to recognize him. And it goes back to when Mr. Parker was the principal at Brentwood High School. He preached three things: academics, athletics, and the arts. And to this day, 42 years later, we're preaching those exact same thing: is academics, athletics, and the arts. This week we had 90-something kids qualify for the state DECA championship. We've got 300 kids at Model UN today. We have another 70 kids in our forensics program. We have another 55 in our robotics team that's also competing this weekend. So we've got kids spread in all these academic competitions all across Middle Tennessee right now, having great success. Obviously, the football team making the second round of playoffs is a very successful thing for that. But I don't think people realize how many other extracurricular activities and opportunities that kids at our school have. So they're just excelling in those academic clubs, those academic extracurricular activities. And then our cross-country team, we talked about them getting ready to run in the state championship. Our girls won it for the 5th straight time, so very excited for them. And our boys team finished fourth. So it was really great that they were able to finish off their seasons with such great success. And then we got our band here watching Stewarts Creek. They had a fabulous year. And our visual arts program, because I just had to mention those art kids, we have over 450 kids that are taking visual arts. They've got their artwork is being displayed at the Frisk Center, and so it's just an opportunity for kids in the high school arena to showcase their many talents, whether it's academic, athletic, or the arts.
That is absolutely fantastic. I know last time we talked about how those seniors, how well they're doing academically, so it's great to hear also what they're doing in the arts and athletics. So thank you again so much for joining me, and thank you again to Western Kentucky for being a sponsor of Educator Spotlight. Whenever we come back, we're going to have more Educator Spotlights for you, as well as stats, highlights, a whole lot more, so stick with us. We'll be right back.
This week's Friday Night Rivals Educator Spotlight is presented by Western Kentucky University. Climb higher at Western Kentucky University. You're watching the United States Navy Halftime Report. The United States Navy, forged by the sea.
Hey,
Welcome back to Stewarts Creek, where they are currently hosting Brentwood High School. And I'm currently joined by the athletic director, Todd Harrison. Thank you so much for hosting us tonight. How does it feel to be hosting at Stewarts Creek?
You know what, Sammy? First of all, thank you to My TV 30. We had the game earlier this year at Rockville. It's great to be at the Creek, though. So glad to have you guys out. I know it's been a pleasure for our Stewarts Creek television team to come and do their thing along with My TV 30. So we're absolutely having a blast. Great to have you guys here tonight. Obviously, a close football game, and just a good time.
Yeah, and I know that you did not disappoint last time you were on TV with us.
We were kind of prepared a little bit. Yeah, and so this time.
It's not about Coach Harris here. The band has worked really, really hard this year, and we've put a lot of time and effort into making our show the strongest. The strongest. Yes.
We're just so very proud of everybody and all the community that we've had. We're just so grateful.
Okay.
We love our band, but we love cross country more.
This is the first time in school history that both the girls and guys team have made it to state. We love cross country.
We had lots of PRs this season.
Okay. We love cross country, but our Stewarts girls basketball team is coming up next week. Make sure you pop out, watch our girls. We have a lot of special talent, and we can't wait to see you there. And we're going to add our own little sauce to it.
Pop out!
Pop out!
We love our girls team, but our boys basketball team is promising this year under a new head coach, Coach Jones. I just want y'all to tune in this year. Ready? Be there
next Tuesday. Independence
at 7.
Basketball's great and all, but here we got one of the best baseball teams in all of Middle Tennessee. We got 5 district titles and 5 state appearances. And on top of all this, we got 32 different college signees.
Not only is baseball pretty great, but softball's even better.
With 1 district championship, 2 regional championships, and 2 state appearances in the last 3 years.
Y'all should come out and support.
Here at SCHS, we love our athletics, but we love our student body, the community, and the families even more. And we got spirit, yes we do. We got spirit, how about you?
Hey, this is my interview. Well, Sammy, you got to see some of the great students we have here at Stewarts Creek, but so much more than students. At Stewarts Creek, it's all about faculty. It's all about students. You know what? It's about family. It's about community. It's all about the Creek. And at Stewarts Creek High School, we are one team.
I love it, you guys. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for hosting us and showing us how you're a family. And thank you to Western Kentucky for this educator spotlight and letting them showcase what all they have going on at Stewarts Creek. Whenever we come back from this break, we're going to have stats, highlights, a lot more for you, so stick with us. We'll be right back.
This week's Friday Night Rivals Educator Spotlight is presented by Western Kentucky University. Climb higher at Western Kentucky University. You're watching the United States Navy Halftime Report. The United States Navy, forged by the sea.
Low-scoring affair at Stewarts Creek High School with a quarterfinal berth on the line in the 6A class. The Stewarts Creek Redhawks hosting the Brentwood Bruins and leading Brentwood 3-0 at the break. Back in the booth, Lucas Panzica and Bruno Reagan with you as we get to the highlights from the first half. Again, only 3 points separate these two. It was a scoreless first quarter. J.C. White got the Bruins going early with the quarterback run game, but Brentwood punting it away, avoiding a turnover there, but the first possession ending in a punt. Stewarts Creek on its opening drive. Caleb Floyd with some tough runs in the first half, but just kind of a nip-and-tuck game, Bruno. Not a whole lot in it for both offenses.
Yeah, we get a swing out here, but Stewarts Creek has been extremely aggressive. We get a forced fumble right there that they fall on. That sets up the first scoring drive for Stewarts Creek as we take a look after this play. Big turnover, and we see a lot of it was off the back of their quarterback, Jerry Taylor, throwing it down the field to Kai Mangrum. Goes up, gets it. Was a defensive pass interference, still able to convert as we take a look with Jeremy Smith leading off to the edge, and he reaches out for the pylon, but he does it with the hand that doesn't have the football. So we go to 4th and 1. Eventually led to a kick from Stewarts Creek for the only score of the first half.
And a false start on 4th and 1 on the 1 for Stewarts Creek to boot the field goal. That gave them the lead. J.C. White with the second Brentwood turnover of the game, right into the hands there of Stewarts Creek defensive back Kingston McQueen. The Redhawks unable to do anything with that possession. Brentwood taking over, and wide left on the field goal attempt by kicker Keenan Fisher. And 3-0 is the score at the break as we look at the first half stats. Again, not much in it for both offenses. Stewarts Creek fairly balanced in the first half, and Brentwood, of course, losing the turnover battle.
The turnover battle, I think, is going to be critical. Now, Stewarts Creek had opportunities to capitalize a little bit more. They might have fallen short for the opportunities they had, but they have controlled the pacing of the game. Again, only 3-0, so Brentwood, nothing to be too concerned about. I think both defenses have played much more physical football than both offenses. So whichever one comes to life and takes that win, that's going to be the team that moves on to our quarterfinal.
Well, both of these teams are capable of running the football, but who knows what they'd be able to do with interior offensive lineman Bruno Reagan sitting right up here to my right in the booth here at Stewarts Creek High School. I mean, you talk about one heck of a career going all the way back to 2014. Hall of Famer at Clarksville High School. He goes on to play for the Vanderbilt Commodores, two-time All-SEC player. Of course, 14 pancake blocks. Who can forget the 20 domination blocks at the college level? Not a stat most people knew. That was kept. Picked up by St. Louis at the XFL level. Season shortened by COVID, but Bruno with a nice stint with the Battle Hawks after participating in some NFL camps. Look at that. Signing autographs, a man of the people. Bruno Reagan on the sideline. And then, of course, taking over the USFL, playing with the Birmingham Bandits. USFL legend, Bruno Reagan. That's what they say, at least. USFL, XFL, and the pregame traditions do not change, whether it's the naps on the sideline. That time we got you with your eyes open. But broadcaster, football player, got to keep it consistent.
Y'all crack me up. I thought I was just getting a goofy little flex for the camera, so I appreciate it. Also, you picked all the pictures with my bad side too. I look a lot slimmer if you get me from the left, but I appreciate you guys. I have a ton of fun. Yeah, I have a ton of fun here on FNR, and I mean, what a great crew we have. Even on some days where I come in and it's a little, because I teach school, so I got to deal with these kids all day. But we come together and we have fun. It's a great time.
Well, you're educating America's youth, but to have a local guy from Clarksville to Vanderbilt to the airwaves in Middle Tennessee, that's a special thing for what we do out here at My TV 30. So Bruno Reagan, appreciate you up here in the booth. One more look. Is that the bad side? Is that because that's just the full face profile?
Sadly, I don't got a good symmetrical face, but I do got a decent smile.
3-0 Stewarts Creek, second half next. Ready for the second half in Rutherford County. The Stewarts Creek Redhawks are 1/2 away from history, from the first quarterfinal berth in school history, leading the Brentwood Bruins 3-0. Brentwood's been here before, looking for a state championship appearance for the first time since 2020. Head coach Clint Finch firing up his team before the second half in what has been a cagey, low-scoring affair through the first 2 quarters. And Bruno Reagan, somebody's got to make a difference on offense. Want to get your take on what needs to happen for the Redhawks, who will get the ball to start the second half. We will go down to Sammy Kincaid here shortly to kick things off as she catches up with Brentwood head coach Clint Finch, and we go down to the field.
Coach, close game. What was really your message to your team?
Keep playing really good defense, and let's find a way to move the ball consistently on offense. Kids are playing their tails off. We just got to function better on offense.
And that was a last-minute message that you had to your team right there. So what was the one thing that you want them to do better?
We've been in a lot of close games. We win a lot of games in the second half. Here, and we're down 3. That's a doable deal for us in 24 minutes. So proud of the way they play. We got to execute better and find a way to pull this thing out.
Well, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sammy. Down with head coach Clint Finch of the Brentwood Bruins in the Josh Houston and Associates Coaches Corner, a one-source scholastic product experience. So you just heard from the Brentwood side, Bruno, but it's Stewarts Creek that will get the ball to start the second half, going up against a tough Brentwood defense. What have you liked? What have you not liked from what you've seen in the first half from the Redhawks offense?
Well, the Redhawks are having trouble specifically with the defensive lineman shifts that happen off the snap. They call it a slant or angle, whether you're going away from the strength of the offense or to the strength of the offense. So Kai Micatrato is getting to the backfield by cutting that angle super quick. And then they use that to fill that gap that those guys are giving up on the defensive side. They'll bring in third or second level defenders, and that's where you see Parker Emerson coming down and making a play on the edge down the middle, right? But if you are able to pick up those blitzers on these slants and angles, that's where your rush plays have the biggest potentials for explosions. So the offensive line has to find a way to deal with this movement for Stewarts Creek.
Redhawks offense discussing before they hit the field. Keenan Fisher will boot it away to kick off the second half. Brentwood winners over Smyrna at home in the first round. Stewarts Creek defeated Independence last week on this field 20-14 in the first playoff win in school history. And they're looking to keep that train rolling tonight, leading 3-0 at halftime here on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law on MyTV 30. Fisher boots it deep. Fielded by Smith at the 10. Works his way up the middle of the field. Thought he had a seam to break free, but he is caught from behind. And that could have been a touchdown-saving tackle by George Hayes. And Stewarts Creek will send out the offense as we go down to Sammy Kincaid for a halftime injury report.
Hey guys, for the Bart Durham Injury Law Injury Report. Even though a couple players went down in the first half, it is the same as the game started, with Brentwood missing Will Turner due to sickness and Stewarts Creek out 3 of their defenders, with Canal St. Soir as well as Taj Roseburg out with ankle injuries, and Jonathan Waller is out with a broken leg. That's your Bart Durham Injury Law Injury Report. Back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. Yeah, you mentioned Will Turner, the outside linebacker. He was a revelation this season for the Brentwood defense. Out with an illness last week and this week, so junior Jeremiah Flores filling in at outside linebacker, wearing number 80. Stewarts Creek will hand off to Jeremy Smith around the right side, fighting his way to the 34.
Jeremy Smith is gaining 5 on the play.
Only the 6th carry for Smith, just 11 yards for a player with over 900 rush yards and over 200 receiving yards on the season coming into tonight.
Stewarts Creek playing with more guys than usual on the offensive front standpoint, typically going with 2 or at least 1 tight end. Rushing on the outside there. The blocking on the edges was a lot better for Stewarts Creek. If they keep that level of consistency in the blocking schemes, they'll have a decent run game here in the second half.
Jerry Taylor immediately swarmed as he pulls the handoff. And he rescues a yard, maybe 2 out of it, as he goes down with Adis Jugovic, the sophomore defensive lineman, clutching his leg.
Third and manageable here. Your entire playbook when you're in a 3rd and 4 is open to be called. Makes it tough on the defense. They don't know from the 2nd and 3rd level whether they get on their toes or their heels. Now, Brentwood has done a good job of controlling the pacing, as I mentioned earlier, with the pressures they've dialed up. We'll see if Stewarts Creek can take advantage, because if you block those, that can lead to explosive plays.
3rd and 3, Taylor, the quarterback keeper. Brentwood is all over it. And guess who? Number 9, Kai Micatrato, has been a game wrecker at the interior of that Brentwood defensive line. He forces a 4th and 2.
We'll take a look. Micatrato just cuts up into the field right where Taylor is supposed to take his path to run. Looks like there just was he has such a get-off on the football. There was no chance for the player to reach him in the technique he was in. Called his name about 3 or 4 times tonight already. Forces another punt, from Stewarts Creek.
And it's a fake. Grady Harvey's got it, and he has the first down and plenty more. Harvey chopped down in Brentwood territory. And Stewarts Creek with the special teams trickery of BMC Metalworks first down, 20-yard gain on the fake punt.
Don't let his tall, filled-out build fool you. If you're scouting a guy, you might think good head on his shoulders, smart player. No, he's an athlete, pure and simple. Can do it on offense, can do it on defense. Now shows some love on special teams. Harvey has 5 touchdowns on 11 catches, 10 coming into the game tonight. How's that for a lethal weapon?
No lunch pail cliches for Grady Harvey.
He said, I'm an athlete like the rest of them.
Going quick here, handing off to Jeremy Smith, who gets down to the 35 of Brentwood. And we'll see if that lights a fire under the Stewarts Creek Redhawks. 7-yard gain.
A lot of teams in the high school level, when they get explosive plays like that, they like to rush to the football and keep that momentum going, maybe pick up the pace. Now, Stewarts Creek, they exchange a lot of personnel. So not really that style of football. They'll come back together, reorganize. Now they have 2 downs to work with here on a short yardage situation to move the sticks.
Handoff. Now Floyd gets a turn, and he has the first down, thumping across the 30. Jackson Allen makes the stop. It's another UA Local 572, BMC Metalworks, first down, Redhawks.
This is very reminiscent to the same exact explosive play Floyd had in their first series in the first half. They were able to attack these edges. Stewarts Creek, they did have a penalty issue in the first half off of the edge. Now, that's kind of the strength of their scheme and their blocking. You see that Floyd is untouched 3 to 4 yards down the field before he even makes contact. Makes it look too easy.
Mangrum, the man in motion. Handoff, Floyd just probes his way down to the 27-yard line. William Stockoff, the Brentwood lead tackler on the stop. And they'll mark him right at the 27, so it is a gain of 1.
Can't ever count the Brentwood defense out. Even if they give up play after play, they're going to come back. They have that get back to the middle mentality. They're always going to bring it no matter what. Full effort from first defensive line, second linebackers, and third level defensive backs. They got defensive backs too that can hit. They got defensive linemen that can cover sideline to sideline. Just all around great defense for Brentwood.
Smith goes in motion. Taylor keeps. Falls across the 25. This will bring up 3rd down for the Stewarts Creek offense. With 6 yards, 5. No, they do rule it 6 yards to the line to gain.
And you have to imagine at this point of the field, too, you're probably working with 2 downs instead of 1, at least depending on the success of this one. Whether they might end up a yard or 2 short, I'd expect Stewarts Creek to go for it and try and make this a 2-score game.
Taylor looking to the sideline. Head coach Ben Caudill, the offensive play caller for the Redhawks. And a flag down, multiple flags, as it looked like Floyd was getting the snap in motion.
False start on the offense. Remains 3rd down.
Big blow.
When Stewarts Creek gets in these positions where the stakes start to get a little higher, as we saw on the goal line last half, they had that false start. Now they get another false start here. A little adversity with the play call, formation, personnel. Something was a little off, and they get backed up now to force 3rd and 10. Maybe some of that youth, with this being only their potential second playoff win.
Taylor on the play action. Steps up. Gets the throw off, and it's incomplete. Was feeling the pressure, and that brings up 4th and 10. And now this could be a tough call for head coach Ben Caudill. Offense on the field for the moment. It would be a 45-yard attempt if they were to kick it here.
$15 seconds left on the play clock.
Quarterfinal berth on the line here. Winner moves on to face the winner between Ravenwood and Franklin. Ravenwood with a healthy lead in that game as we speak. On 4th and 10, Taylor rolls, throws, caught. First down, Stewarts Creek. Just enough to move the chains. Kai Mangrum on the receiving end, and it's a BMC Metalworks 4th down conversion for the Redhawks.
They had me worried there. We're getting to 13, 12 seconds left on the play call, and a play hadn't been called yet. And that's tough for an offense, especially in a backed up position, to try and recognize you have to read the defense, recognize your assignment. But at the end of the day, if you want to win playoff football, your big-time players have to make big-time plays. Kai Mangrum is a big-time player, and who best to go to pull off a very gutsy 4th and 10 call.
2 big catches today for 43 yards for Kai Mangrum. Taylor under center here. And the ball may have hit the turf. Brentwood saying they have it. That's Brentwood Bruins football. The defense forcing a fumble off the snap. And the Bruins have forced the first Stewarts Creek turnover of the game. Brentwood ball inside their own 20 when we come back as Stewarts Creek leads it by 3 in the 3rd. Stewarts Creek fumbles the football inside the red zone, and Brentwood takes over. Defensive struggle tonight. 3 turnovers, 2 by Brentwood, and the first one by Stewarts Creek.
Take a look at the first turnover. Here we have a mashup. Great play and recovery right there by number 7, Keelan Harris. Then we take a look at the second one. A good defensive mashup. Overall, Harris getting taken down.
Here's the interception thrown by J.C. White in the first half. Picked off by Kingston McQueen coming back for it. That was the second forced turnover by Stewarts Creek. And how about that PBU by Grady Harvey, who's had himself a game on both sides of the ball in all 3 phases for the Redhawks. And then Stewarts Creek fumbling the football on the last play, and Brentwood takes over. Plenty to choose from. The Bass Tire stop of the game coming up in the 4th quarter. Bass Tire serving Nashville for over 35 years. taking over on their own 17. White wings it out to Jones Merrill, the sophomore, thumped across the 25.
Pass complete. Number 5, Jones Merrill, taken down.
Brings up second and short.
Number 88, Dallas Johnson.
Brentwood with the potential to play a little faster. Take a look at this first play. Fake the mesh, step out, get Merrill in space. The younger one showing he has some potential to get involved, get some yards, set them up for a second and short.
Put it in the air again, this time to the older Merrill. Clayton across the 30. He's got a BMC Metalworks first down. BMC Metalworks, an industry leader in CNC machining and steel fabrication services, celebrating its 50th year anniversary in 2024. Gain of 6.
I noticed that in the first half, we had a few swing passes out to the flat, and the older Merrill was trying to cut and make some big plays. Well, now, with the looser coverage, they're just hitting it up the field, and they're getting a lot of free yardage.
Clayton Merrill in motion. They give it to Nelson. His first carry of the second half goes for 6. 39 yards on 5 carries for senior leader Gavin Nelson, our player to watch coming into the game.
Number 55, Bryce.
Good early show of balance. Stewarts Creek had 2 forced turnovers in the first half, only able to get 3 points out of those. Brentwood operating real well off of their first turnover here in the second.
White brings Merrill into the backfield, but will give to Nelson again as he is greeted by a flock of Redhawks at the line of scrimmage. Bryson Hayes wrapping them up. And this brings up 3rd and inches for Brentwood. Getting a good angle there. Clint Finch, the head coach and offensive play caller. Brentwood changing things up. J.C. White, who has grappled hold of this starting quarterback job just in the last 3 weeks. Up the middle to Nelson, and he surges forward, still going. Gavin Nelson dragging defenders into Stewarts Creek territory. 13-yard tough run by Nelson and a BMC Metalworks first down.
And I'll say it, I thought the whistle might have been a little early. We'll take a look at Nelson right here in the first stoppage. Keeps the feet turning and bodies go down. And we see right here the pile, 1, 2, inching a little bit forward, but they do blow the whistle about a quarter second before that one.
On the Stewarts Creek 46. And a heavy dose of Gavin Nelson here in this third quarter. That one picks up about 5. Talked about staying balanced. That was the key for Brentwood coming into today. 63 yards on the ground, 42 in the air so far.
And I'll mention it too. Physical defense is hard to play for 4 quarters. We're going to see the condition of these teams right now. They've been stuffing the run very well, but it's very reactive, and you have to play pursuit every time. Offensive football is going to start picking up the later you go, as long as you stay disciplined.
Delaying the handoff to Nelson, and he's patient with his blocks as he gets down to 30. Marked at the 31.
Brentwood offensive line has been doing really good all series. This pin pull series, they can even do better. You see right there some offensive linemen just flooding the pile, and Nelson has to push them out of the way. If these guys get out of the way or find work, create the lanes. Don't wait for them, create them. We're going to see some more explosive plays for Brentwood.
Chewing up this third quarter clock. White takes off. Out across the 25. So a methodical drive by Brentwood shaping up here, approaching the Stewarts Creek red zone. And Brentwood just reverting to tough-nosed football on this series, where we're seeing them put it in the air on a lot of early downs in the first half.
Yeah, it kind of was shades of the Ravenwood game we had them on earlier, where they were forced into one dimension. Well, they came out. Something was said at halftime, because the offensive line, on their straight zone runs, they're getting up the field push.
White throws it over pressure. Merrill is grappled down in the red zone by McQueen. And it is a BMC Metalworks first down, Brentwood. Pitch and catch of 7 yards from White to Merrill on his 5th catch of the game.
Now with Stewarts Creek last drive, they were driving, and it looked like it was going to be easy pickings. And I mentioned, watch out, the Brentwood defense, they play hard every snap. Same thing with Stewarts Creek. Brentwood, now that they're in the red zone, they can't think it's a given. Protect the football and try and at least even up the score here.
Again to Nelson. Lowers his shoulders. To the 15 he goes, and that could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. A scoreless 3rd in the 2nd round of the 6A playoffs. Stewarts Creek by 3, but Brentwood knocking on the door as we head to the final frame on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rival, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law on MyTV 30.
I don't know. Bart coming back.
Not much to separate these two through 3 quarters. Brentwood in the red zone, looking to get on the board for the first time tonight. Quarterfinal berth on the line in Rutherford County. J.C. White plunging up the middle and down inside the 10. It is enough for a first down, Brentwood Bruins. Ball spotted on the 7. Gain of 8 by White. And Brentwood's red zone offense now needing to deliver for the Bruins on the road. With 3 receivers to the left, they hand off to Nelson, and he is hit immediately by Bryson Hayes. How much harder does it get when you get into that low red zone and the field shrinks as much as it does?
You asked me a hard question because from an analysis standpoint, it is a lot harder. But when you're a player, you have to get into a mindset like it's easier because I love it, right? So you get into that mindset right here. But nonetheless, the job description doesn't change. The looks don't change. The field might be a little shorter. But for an offense that has been moving extremely well, should be simple.
Ball on the 6. Nelson stringing it out to the sideline, and Grady Harvey swings him down, and it brings up 3rd down. No gain.
Harvey right there on the outside linebacker position takes on the lead blocker and sheds him to the outside. Another cat who might be a sleeper agent for player of the game on the Stewarts Creek side of the football.
And a big fake punt conversion in the 3rd quarter, making plays on defense as well. Big 3rd down for Brentwood. White flings it wide open. Touchdown, Bruins. He finds Clayton Merrill in the back of the end zone. The senior's 2nd touchdown grab of the season. And the future Austin P. Governor gives Brentwood its first lead of this 2nd round playoff matchup.
Key to the game coming in for Brentwood was set the balance early. Well, we didn't get it early, but here in the 4th quarter, we had a very good rushing drive, and that opens up this window. They try the rush. Well, they get to their last down, they roll JC out, and they're able to find Merrill basically free in the back of the end zone.
So Brentwood leads by 4 with over 10 minutes to play. Plenty of fun playoff action across Middle Tennessee, including here at Stewarts Creek High School, and plenty more to come. Fridays at 6:30, don't miss Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust. This year it's a pregame show. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick gets you ready for all the playoff action. See the fans, the interviews, and more Fridays at 6:30. Don't miss it. Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust, who is proud to sponsor local schools and student athletes, both on and off the field. So Brentwood puts together a long scoring drive, capitalizing off the Stewarts Creek fumble. And J.C. White throws his 9th touchdown pass of the season. 14 plays, 83 yards. They took over inside the 20 after the fumble, and they take over 7 minutes off the clock. There's the kickoff by Fisher, fielded by Smith. Always dangerous in the open field. Brentwood won't let him get there. He's twirled down at the 25, and the Stewarts Creek offense, who had put together a really nice drive the last time out, ending in the turnover, now operating at a deficit for the first time tonight.
Well, Kai Micatrato over in the red zone, able to slant inside and recover the fumble. And the Brentwood offense kind of giving off a warning shot, too. Like, hey, we can take 7 minutes off the clock, too. So imagine Stewarts Creek, an offense that's not really built for the later part of the 4th quarter, a 2 or 3 minute drill. So this drive, up there in level of importance.
Taylor flanked in the backfield by both Floyd and Smith, but flag is down.
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense, number 58, remains first down.
Pushes Stewarts Creek back 5 yards. So 1st and 15. Let's go down to Sammy Kincaid on the sideline.
Now, Stewarts Creek is really going to need some production from their two running backs who are both at almost 1,000 yards on the season. Caleb Floyd, as of right now, he's at 962 yards with 46 yards tonight. And Jeremy Smith at 923 17.
Caleb Floyd on the carry.
Production for them.
Game 12.
Thanks, Sammy. A few technical difficulties on the audio side from the sideline, but go ahead and tack on 8 more to Caleb Floyd's total that Sammy just gave us, and it's just been a deadly 1-2 punch all season. Stewarts Creek needs it now with 9.5 minutes to save their season. Going back to Floyd. A little shake and bake in the backfield, and he's got the UA local 572 first down.
Good decision by Floyd. Using the lateral movement, one quick step to give the defender a step off of his balance and then shoot upward, all right? A lot of guys get a little too dancy with it. Floyd wants to get the positive yardage. That's smart football. If they keep this up, they'll have potential to take the lead back.
Both of those guys just waited their turn. Really didn't get their fully fledged starting opportunity until this season, their senior year, and they have both taken it and run with it, quite literally. Smith gets the give in motion, has a crease. Jeremy Smith using that speed across the 20. Jeremy Smith is gone. .62 yards, and Jeremy Smith puts Stewarts Creek back on top.
Sammy mentions the totals for these two running backs. Coming into the game, Jeremy Smith had 906 yards. Caleb Floyd had 916. Both kind of treading towards that 1,000-yard mark. How nice would it be if they hit it going into the quarterfinal? And Smith, who was on the other side, we gave Floyd player to watch coming in, but Smith, who only has 2 touchdowns on the season because Floyd is their go-to guy in the red zone. So Smith says, that's fine, I'll take it out from 60.
Extra point is up and good by Landon Wharf. And Stewarts Creek leads by 3 with 8:50 to go in the second round of the 6A playoffs. Finishing out the fourth quarter when we come back on MyTV 30. By Jeremy. A 62-yard scamper by Jeremy Smith, and Stewarts Creek back on top by 3 in this second round playoff matchup as we pause for a break for financial literacy with Wilson Bank and Trust.
Every great football team plans and prepares for all situations. At Wilson Bank and Trust, we help you prepare for life's expected and unexpected events with our savings accounts. Some popular savings options include money markets and certificates of deposit. With a savings account, you will earn interest, which means your money is constantly growing. Like every great coach knows their team, we know our community. We understand your needs and the winning plays to help you achieve success. Let's craft a financial strategy that fits you.
In a flash, Stewarts Creek back on top. Giving up a long scoring drive to Brentwood to go down 7-3, and then a 1-minute, 17-second series. Jeremy Smith runs in his 7th rushing score of the season. He's got 2 receiving in 2024, and that 1-2 punch at running back for Stewarts Creek of Floyd and Smith is what gives them back the lead.
I wanted to avoid the thunder and lightning comparisons, but Smith does show off a little bit of the lightning there.
And that is certainly not his first touchdown run of 60 or more yards this season. The kickoff fielded by Merrill, ranging to the sideline and finally brought down across the 35.
Death, Taxes, and Clayton Merrill rushing across the field to the 40-yard line. Seems to get it done every time.
So the Brentwood offense didn't spend too much time on the sideline. They'll come right back out, down by 3. What'd you see that you liked from Brentwood on the last series that got them in the end zone?
Oh, the unsung heroes, the offensive line, especially on the base runs, the QB traps. They were getting vertical movement on the defensive linemen. When you don't have linemen on the line of scrimmage or the backfield, it gives the ball carriers a lot easier reads, spacing, everything.
They try to screen it out on 1st and 10, and it's incomplete at the feet of Merrill. We talked about it. White was sharing quarterback reps with senior Cannon Kinder, and in the lead up to the Ravenwood game in the regular season finale, the coaching staff decided they're going to stick with J.C. White. Sat down Kinder, the senior, and explained it to him. He understood. Embraced the role now as a punter and running back receiver combo. But this is J.C. White's offense, the junior quarterback, looking to lead Brentwood down 3 in the playoffs, and he connects across the middle. Merrill into Stewarts Creek territory.
Man, there's a lot of coaching cliches, euphemisms, whatever you want to call it, but one of the big ones that they'll tell you in any training camp is get those palms down. You see everyone with their palms up, and a lot of Stewarts Creek defensive players right there looking around at each other with their palms out. J.C. White starting to get some groove with these rollouts. Who else are they going to go to besides the Merrills? Clayton Merrill getting the call right here. Crossing midfield already is Brentwood.
Now they go back to Gavin Nelson on the ground after the 20-yard pitch and catch. There, Keelan Harris rips him down after a gain of 1. Offers from Eastern Kentucky and Arkansas State, big leader of this defense.
I know Stewarts Creek has done a decent job, at least in the first half, of reading the screen out, but on this 2nd and long, might not be a bad idea now that J.C. White has bailed him out of a few 2nd and longs to try and get back to that screen game, or at least get it out open to the flat when you have the field to your right side.
Nelson straight up the middle, has a hole, plunges through it, and he romps to the 29-yard line. And Nelson has 88 rush yards in this one. That one for 14.
And that shows the trust, too, because the run game, at least in the first half, was a little comatose. But offensive play caller and head coach Clint Finch knows that the running game has to work. There is no way around it. He trusts Nelson as offensive line right there on that 2nd and long, and they convert.
Snap goes through the legs of White. He's able to rescue the possession and make something out of it as he gallops to the 22. So Brentwood avoids its 3rd turnover of the ball game and create a 7-yard gain out of it.
J.C. White is able to cover like 12 yards with 3 steps. A little bit of a longer body.
There's a flag on the field. I did not see one. And no penalty. Looked like Scott Hopper was opening his microphone for a moment.
Something to keep an eye on, because every time J.C. White is taking a hit, he comes up with that right hand and a lower back. So a little bit of a nagging injury, it seems, that he's dealing with while driving.
Nelson again, this time is met by Bryson Hayes, who's starting to make some noise along that Stewarts Creek front.
Bryson Hayes, the senior, certainly not taking it for granted.
Shout out to the Stewarts Creek band that put on one heck of a performance at halftime tonight.
They are great energy for the 4th quarter. I wish team sidelines were that energetic in the 4th quarter.
6 minutes to go. Stewarts Creek on the cusp of its first quarterfinal berth in school history.
Good no call there.
puts him over 90 yards on the night. He had less than 30 in the first half. So Brentwood really recommitting to the run as we look around the mid-state. Ravenwood running away from Franklin 38-7. It looks like the Raptors will await the winner of this one in the 6A quarterfinals. How about that? Mount Juliet and Oakland deadlocked at 28. Golden Bears looking to pull off the big upset. Nelson stymied after a gain of 1, maybe 2.
Again, Bryson Haynes, the senior, 2 big plays in a row.
This is not uncharted territory for Brentwood. 6A runner-ups in 2020. Ben Caudill, as you see the head coach of Stewarts Creek, knows plenty about the history of Brentwood from his time as an assistant there under Ron Crawford. White on the quarterback keeper. Forward progress rules him down at the 14. So another long drive forming for the Brentwood offense. That's really leaned on its offensive line in the second half.
They've done well up to this point, but at the end of the day, you have to finish. You can't play well for 2-3 quarters and not come out with the W. Brentwood only down 3 with a chance to take the lead.
On 3rd and 5, design quarterback run. White picks his spot and darts through it. A UA Local 572 first down run. UA Local 572, the premier trainer of workers in all aspects of the piping, plumbing, welding, and HVAC industry.
Man, the offensive line is doing a much better job right there. They're getting up and finding work. If their designated target isn't there, well, they're going off and sealing off and creating walls for White to just fit in enough. And White does a good job of staying loose in his core and spinning to get the extra yard and convert. Probably Brentwood happy to let the clock tick down a little bit here.
Under 10 on the play clock. Gavin Nelson gains 1, and they'll continue to grind that clock after Nelson's 18th carry of the night. 5 yards away from 100.
Both teams still with timeouts, so Stewarts Creek can operate their offense, but again, very run heavy, leaning on the backs of production from Floyd and Smith. Not a very clock-friendly situation if Brentwood does get the score here.
2nd and goal. White looking to angle into the end zone, and Harris climbs over him to bring him down. Excellent pursuit by the senior linebacker.
Keelan Harris, another senior. Notice the effort these seniors are playing with. They've already made history as the class to be the first playoff winning team in Stewarts Creek history. Now on this drive, they're looking to at least hold off a go-ahead touchdown from Brentwood.
The Bruins take their first timeout of the second half. And we'll take it with them. Fun finish lined up with a quarterfinal berth on the line. Stewarts Creek by 3. Brentwood knocking on the door on MyTV 30.
All of us would like to take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsor partners, the Tennessee Army National Guard, Bart Durham, and Sonic, who through their contributions to this program make these games possible for you, the viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to our Friday Night Rivals telecasts: the United States Navy, DMC Metalworks, UA Local 572, Wilson Bank and Trust, the United States Marines, Western Kentucky University, Bass Tire, and Josh Houston and Associates. And we'd especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support.
Brentwood ball, 3rd and goal on the 7. Just over 2 minutes left in this second round playoff matchup. J.C. White looking. Rolls left, under pressure. White slings it incomplete. Keelan Harris was shot out of a cannon. And it brings up 4th and goal.
I have to see it again, but it looked like White had pressure on him right when I believe Merrill across the field was wide open in the end zone. And a great job by Keelan Harris again. So we had 2 back-to-back plays by Bryson Haynes, the senior D lineman. Then Keelan Harris.
This is a 24-yard field goal attempt for Keenan Fisher, who knocked in a 23-yarder in the second quarter. It's good.
Man, Lucas, that looked that close to being blocked.
Brentwood ties it up. And correction, that is Fisher's first make of the night. He missed a 45-yard attempt in the second quarter, but he makes good there, and we're knotted up at 10.
Took a look at number 6 on the right side. He gets his left hand up, but not his right. If he had his right hand up, that would have been right into the path. That was Daniel Johnson, the outside linebacker on the special teams, just an inch away from potentially sealing away Stewarts Creek potential win into the second round.
2:03 left. And Stewarts Creek now will have a chance with all 3 timeouts to put together potentially a historic drive for this football program. Stay with us. We'll tell you the Bart Durham player of the game before this one goes final. Lot to choose from tonight. With the impacts made on defense, on special teams, and in such a tight-knit football game. At a scoreless first and a scoreless third, it was 3-0 Stewarts Creek going into the final quarter. Fisher will keep this one away from both Smith and Floyd for the touchback. So here comes the Stewarts Creek offense. A unit that's averaged 31 points per game, coordinated by that man, head coach Ben Caudill. And he has talked so complimentary about this group. Said this team embraces practice more than any team he's been around, a blue-collar mentality, as he coaches against his former colleague, Clint Finch. Used to work together calling plays from the same booth at Brentwood High School. But only one can move on to face Ravenwood in the 6A quarterfinals. Taylor takes off. Down across the 25. Good first down run by the junior quarterback. 14 plays, 57 yards, nearly 7 minutes off the clock. And a 24-yard field goal by Keenan Fisher that evened the score for Brentwood.
This is what I mentioned about an offense not really built with the changes in personnels and who gets the ball. About 20 seconds have run off the play clock after one play, and they still have a lot of ground covered.
Taylor guns it. It's caught, and that's a first down, Stewarts Creek. Out of bounds to stop the clock is Jalen Barnes on just his 6th catch of the season, but it's a UA Local 572 first down.
Good efficiency. Still have all their timeouts. Again, you don't want to play for the field goal. But at the end of the day, that's probably, if they do have a chance, what would put them over. Issues lining up for Stewarts Creek.
And Stewarts Creek forced to take its first timeout with 67 seconds remaining.
That's tough considering the clock was stopped because of the out of bounds.
Yeah, trouble getting it in. And Ben Caudill will regroup with his team. Stewarts Creek had a tight one last week against Independence, a 6-point win at home, and their first ever playoff win. Otherwise, not a lot of close football games. The Redhawks have largely taken care of business. Only one other one-possession game on their schedule, and it was a Week 2 loss at Blackman, 42-35 in a shootout.
Blackman, a team we see in the scoring updates, a team that is certainly not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination, one of the top teams in 6A now. A turnaround from last season.
Yeah, currently in a battle with Murfreesboro rival Riverdale, just across Rutherford County, where we are tonight out at Stewarts Creek High School. Taylor pulls the handoff, and he is hit and dropped. William Stockoff, the middle linebacker. And we are under a minute to go in regulation. Clock will continue to run here. It's a loss of 6. Taylor looks to gut it deep. Able to evade the sack. Taylor still alive, and he scoots out to stop the clock. It stops at 28.1. And that brings up third down for Stewarts Creek.
At the very least, if Stewarts Creek doesn't convert here, the short amount of time with a decent punt, if they're forced to it, would make it complicated for Brentwood to try and orchestrate a score. But from a special team standpoint, they do have the power from the kicking unit.
Need 8 yards for the first down. Redhawks do have 2 timeouts. Taylor goes deep. It's intercepted. Parker Emerson, the safety, able to stay up. Emerson still going at the 40-yard line, and he is down with 11.6 seconds remaining.
Interesting situation right there because Emerson kind of stays up but doesn't cover a lot of ground at the end there. It does cut off some clock. Brentwood, with their timeouts, might be able to get a play or 2 in before they have to attempt a field goal. We take a look right there. I mean, Emerson just coming over the top of the ball, just about a foot overthrown.
4th turnover of the game, 2 by each team. And now Brentwood has 1st and 10 on the Stewarts Creek 37. Less than 12 seconds and 2 timeouts to try to send their way into the quarterfinals and force a Battle of the Woods rematch against Ravenwood.
With the timeouts they have, it might not be an issue to run it either if there's no downfield threat.
Pressure off the edge. Here comes Harris, and White's forced to throw it away. Keelan Harris has come alive in this 4th quarter. 7 seconds remaining. There's Brentwood kicker Keenan Fisher, who has a long of 48 this season.
They probably have to complete one more, Lucas, for at least 7 to 10 to make it somewhat doable. Right here might be NFL expected range, but a high school game, tough one, as the offense does line up to try and get one more quick one in.
Would be 6 yards away from his season long. We did see him miss a 45-yarder in the first half. White is going to go deep, and that drifts out of bounds. So with 1.4 seconds left,
1.4 seconds remaining.
Barring Brentwood Hail Mary, we could have overtime here in the second round. And a timeout is taken by Brentwood to draw up one final play in regulation.
I say let him kick it, but that's just me. I let him. Hey, forget the accuracy. Let it rip as hard as you can. Lucas tallying it up, how much it would be from a yardage standpoint. The ball is at the 37, added 10 yards because of the back of the end zone. That'd be 47. So we're looking at about a 54 to 55 yard field goal to send Brentwood to the quarterfinal. If it's a miss, it would be overtime.
It's that Vanderbilt education right there.
I couldn't even keep it together, Lucas.
I was over here with wheels spinning in my head. So Brentwood takes its second time out. And this will be the final play of the game, regardless of what they elect to do. And we'll see what the decision is from the Bruins.
They're sending him in.
And
I love it.
They're going to go for it here. Wouldn't this be something?
I love it.
A 54-yard game-winning attempt from junior kicker Keenan Fisher. And a flag is down.
Maybe too many people from Stewart. Let me get a count real quick. Just from the eye test, though, I was a little worried for Stewarts Creek. It looks like they have too many people on the field. There's 12 men on the field right now for Stewarts Creek.
Here's Scott Hopper. No flag. Looks like Stewarts Creek called a timeout, and they did. So they take their second time out of the half.
I love these potential iffies when it comes to the kick, because what if he would have missed that kick there? Or what if he would have made it? I don't know, you know? 2 seasons on the line. Stewarts Creek, 1 playoff win in the school history last week, looking for their second to make it to their first ever quarterfinal, playing against most likely Ravenwood. No final score, but they were running away with it.
And Brentwood is hoping for a rematch with the team they met just 2 weeks ago in the Region 6-6A championship game. It was a 21-3 loss at Ravenwood in a rivalry matchup. And this one just has been tight from start to finish. In the third ever meeting between these two, Brentwood 2-0 in the short series.
Stewarts Creek forced 2 turnovers in the first half, only able to get a 3-0 lead out of it. Then Brentwood, 2 turnovers for them in the second half. Score evens up at 10-10. Going into our final play of regulation.
From the left hash, Keenan Fisher, 54 yards for the win and a spot in the quarterfinal. Snap, hold, good. Kick is not. It is short and wide, and we are headed to overtime at Stewarts Creek.
The track from our TV angle was close. It looked like it might have drifted in, but the ball at the last second turned a little bit to the left.
So it will take an extra period of football to separate these two. And we will get a coin toss to figure out who will get the ball first in overtime. And here's a look at the field goal. Kingston McQueen back deep to field it. And maybe just a few yards short and wide. It was a good hold by Jones Merrill, who thought he had it for a half second.
Now, it was a yard left, but it was also 2 yards a little short. Imagine if they did have that penalty added on before Stewarts Creek got that timeout. It would have had the distance. It was right there.
Great point.
A good attempt.
So we'll have a coin toss. And overtime rules in high school football. Each team will get a possession starting on the 10-yard line.
We've seen 4 turnovers in total this game. 2 for Stewarts Creek in the first half, 2 from Brentwood in the second. Would be very opportune for either team to find a 5th here in the overtime periods.
Scott Hopper will meet team captains at midfield. 2 head coaches in year 4 at their respective programs. Ben Caudill, there you see him, of Stewarts Creek High School. It has been a dream season for the Redhawks. 10 wins, first ever region title, first ever playoff win last week. And you can just feel the tension in this building as they play a Brentwood team that has a state championship on its resume. Back in the early 2000s, looking to get back to Chattanooga for the first time since 2020. Caleb Floyd meets Cannon Kinder at midfield.
We're going to do a coin toss for overtime. The winner of the toss will pick offense or defense, okay? You understand that? You're the visiting team, you're going to call it again, all right? Same as earlier, that's tails, it's head. What's your call? Heads. Heads. And it is heads. So what do you want? Offense? Defense. You want defense. You want offense, so we're going to play down here? You want down there? All right. All right, so we're going there. You guys are going to be on defense. Come around here for me.
Cannon Kinder fired up. Brentwood wins the toss. Stewarts Creek will get the football first in overtime.
I loved it. Hey, tails may never fail, but heads is never dead, all right?
The ultimate teammate. That's how Clint Finch described number 8, Cannon Kinder.
Maybe some psychological warfare there in the overtime. This is why you play the game. That got me fired up. 2 teams, everything this season on the line. Coming into the game, Brentwood Bruins 9-2, Stewarts Creek 10-1.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And we talked about it earlier, the emphasis this week with the season on the line starting on the 10th.
Really leaning on this rushing game, too. They found some good efficiency here in the second half. If I had to give them a favorite of whose offense is in a better position, I'd say Stewarts Creek, but the Brentwood defense has just found so many lanes with their small adjusted pressures.
They'll start with Caleb Floyd in the Wildcat. He's got 62 rush yards tonight. Floyd, stiff arming at the 5. Floyd at the pylon. They'll mark him down at the 1.
We're going to get a second look at that one because it did look close. He was right on the edge of the pylon, but how's that for Floyd? Meets 3 Brentwood defenders about 7 yards away from the goal line and gets right there. Here we go. We take a look. Floyd gets to the right side. We'll try and see where he falls out. Man, that's a tough look. They're spotting him at the 2.
What a tough call to make in real time as Floyd out of the Wildcat goes right up the middle. And touchdown, Stewarts Creek. They go quick, and that spot won't matter as the Redhawks punch first in overtime. Caleb Floyd with his 20th rushing score of the season.
Behind the sky a little bit reflective of the first play too much. We forgot that, hey, they're marked on the 2. They're just going to give it to Floyd and go back. Sure enough, Stewarts Creek strikes first in overtime.
Wharf for the extra point. And he drills it. And Stewarts Creek leads 17-10, and Brentwood will get a chance to force a second overtime.
I mean, think about it. When team captain Kinder went out there, they wanted defense. Well, Stewarts Creek answered that challenge. All offensive linemen finishing in the end zone. That's how you play goal line football from an offensive standpoint. You finish in the end zone. Cover up the D lineman. Trust a guy like Floyd to push second-level guys and meet them in the color.
So here comes the Brentwood offense.
All right, Stewarts Creek, it's time to get on your feet and make some noise. You see those boys down the sideline. Tell them to get up out of your seats. Get on your feet, make some noise. Turn your defense on.
J.C. White, flanked by Gavin Nelson. Hands off, Nelson, swarm, spins away. But he is stuffed and will net maybe a yard on the carry.
Nelson on the carry, red jerseys everywhere.
So interesting for two teams that really found the majority of their success on offense on the ground to get the ball in the low red zone and have to punch it in.
And remember, Brentwood's lone score is from J.C. White touchdown, so it's not foreign to them if they do get into those passing waters.
Connected with Clayton Merrill. White rolls right here. Guns it into the end zone, and it's broken up. Incomplete. Daniel Johnson there on the pass breakup.
That was the same play Brentwood scored on earlier. They rolled J.C. White out. They had Merrill going over the top on the far slant, but he decides to pick it close to the pylon up in the air, and the left foot is out of bounds. He does secure the catch, but not in bounds, setting up a 3rd and 9.
Field goal does Brentwood no good. 2 plays for a touchdown to force a second overtime. Otherwise, Stewarts Creek moves into the quarterfinals for the first time ever.
J.C. White has earned the starting quarterback role late in the season. You have to imagine in these waters they go to him.
They'll screen it here. Nelson is thrown down by Johnson. Gain of 3, and Brentwood has to score from the 6 to keep their season alive.
Number 6 on the right side of your screen, Daniel Johnson able to take the runner Nelson one-on-one to set up 4th and goal. A potential stop for Stewarts Creek to send them to the quarterfinal.
The timeout on the field. Brentwood calling the timeout. Clint Finch brings his team in. So what's the go-to here if you're Brentwood? And you think about what's worked for the Bruins. Like you said, most of their success in terms of yardage on the ground, but their lone touchdown of the night was J.C. White connecting with Clayton Merrill in the back of the end zone.
I think here you got to go with J.C. White, at least with this down and distance. I wouldn't trust. Probably their most effective run, at least tonight, is that quarterback trap, where they have J.C. White run on the inside. Well, that's the one thing these second levels defenders are going to be looking for the most. I think you just have to drop it back with him, and if he has a chance, make a play with his feet. Find someone open with the end zone. At the very least, if he's under pressure, throw it up and give your guys a chance.
Ravenwood awaits in the quarterfinals.
Stewarts Creek, get on your feet. Time to cheer now. I want to hear it sound.
The Stewarts Creek crowd on its feet. And this second round matchup will come down to one play.
Stop for Stewarts Creek, secures a spot in the quarterfinal. Score for Brentwood, sets up another round.
White, rolling, looking to throw, he's hit, ball's out, the game's over! Stewarts Creek wins in overtime, and the Redhawks are in the quarterfinals for the first time in school history.
The box goes crazy. The players storm the field. I even saw some people jumping the fence. Someone protect the goalpost. Stewarts Creek is going to its first quarterfinal.
Keelan Harris brought heat. J.C. White was looking for an option in the end zone. And your final score, Stewarts Creek 17, Brentwood 10. Here's the final play.
J.C. White rolls into the pressure, and it's tough because he's thinking run, pass, run, pass. He gets caught in that conundrum a little bit too much. Instead of just giving his guy a chance in the end zone, Stewarts Creek hosting the playoffs. Goes to the quarters. Tops Brentwood 17-10 in overtime.
A dream season continues for Stewarts Creek. They improved to 11-1 and will get another week together in the TSSAA postseason. Brentwood's campaign closes at 9-3. And we have post-game handshakes in Rutherford County. What a game out here in Smyrna, Tennessee. When we come back, we'll give you our player of the game. We will hear from the winning team and wrap up the night as Stewarts Creek wins a thriller to move on to the quarterfinals. Always a negative side to the TSSAA playoffs. Clint Finch speaking to his Brentwood team as their season comes to an end. But for Stewarts Creek, the dream continues as they move to 11-1 and are in the quarterfinals for the first time in school history. 17-10 in overtime, the final over Brentwood. As we take you to the stop of the game presented by Bass Tire, serving Nashville for over 35 years. And it came in the extra period. Brentwood lining it up, 4th down on the 6. And, this is the play of the game. The Tennessee Army National Guard play of the game as it's Grady Harvey on the fake punt in the 3rd quarter.
Grady Harvey caught my eye when we first had him against Rockville earlier in the season with his amazing catch. They go to him on a must-have 4th down where the offense is stalled out. He gave him a jolt of life from the special teams unit.
And then we'll get to the stop of the game, and that was the game winner as Brentwood needed a touchdown, needed 6 yards to get into the end zone. Stop of the game presented by Bass Tire. Keelan Harris, who was wreaking havoc the entire second half, wins it for Stewarts Creek.
He's the end man on the line of scrimmage. His job is to protect the outside. He takes on the defender, forces J.C. White out, and then tracks him down all the way out to give him a pressured look where J.C. White just can't get it out of his possession.
And the Stewarts Creek Redhawks will play the Ravenwood Raptors in the quarterfinals. in the TSSAA playoffs. A senior-laden group, plenty of players that awaited their opportunity and took advantage of it this season. And for a school that's only been open since 2013, they have written their names into the history books at Stewarts Creek High School. What a feeling as a player to be that mark of history for your football program. Sammy Kincaid is down on the field with Stewarts Creek head coach Ben Caudill and his football team, and we go down to the Red Hawks.
Coach, an overtime win, a lot of emotions. What's going through your mind right now?
So proud of our team. Really good opponent. So much respect for them. But we fought through a lot of adversity tonight. You know, jumped off sides on the goal line. Had a really good drive going, started the third quarter. And just really proud of what we battled through, and so proud of the Red Hawks.
And you can tell.
Oh, it might be a little cold for that, but Ben Caudill does not care. The Red Hawks move on to the TSSAA 6A quarterfinals. Great stuff, Sammy Kincaid. As we get to our player of the game, presented by Bart Durham, and he provided the play of the game. It's Grady Harvey, the tight end who had a big 14-yard catch in the first half. That set up the first Stewarts Creek score. A massive pass breakup here on defense. We showed you the fake punt that went for 20 yards, making plays all over the field in all three phases. Grady Harvey.
Yeah, a real Swiss Army knife type player is Grady Harvey. We see him at the point of attack and set the outside. Shadows of how the game ended for Stewarts Creek. He's been all over the field. Protecting the middle, protecting the edges, special teams, offensive weapon. Grady Harvey, the senior tight end, linebacker, gunner, our Bart Durham player of the game.
Stewarts Creek took a 3-0 lead into the fourth. Things really heated up there. We went into overtime, tied up at 10. A 62-yard touchdown run by Jeremy Smith made it 10-7 Stewarts Creek. A Brentwood field goal tied it. And then Stewarts Creek with a Caleb Floyd touchdown run and a stop on defense are winners tonight. And as we've said, they will be playing the Ravenwood Raptors. That game is final, 45-13 over the Franklin Admirals. And those are two good football teams getting together a week from tonight.
Yeah, we got to see Ravenwood twice. First, they took down Oakland in the regular season. Then to finish it off, they took down Brentwood, who we just saw get eliminated. Another score, Mount Juliet does fall to Oakland. Mount Juliet with a chance to score there at the end with one final drive, but Oakland does come out on top.
The TSSAA postseason continues. Oakland seems like it will meet Riverdale in a rivalry rematch. Still a couple minutes left in that one. Riverdale leading Blackman 31-17. So some thrilling finishes across the mid-state, and we had one here as well. In overtime, Stewarts Creek by 7 over Brentwood. And all of us would like to take a moment to thank the wonderful sponsor partners, the Tennessee Army National Guard, Bart Durham Injury Law, and Sonic, who, through their contributions to the program, make these games possible for you viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to our 2024 Friday Night Rivals telecast. The United States Navy, BMC Metalworks, UA Local 572, Wilson Bank and Trust, the United States Marines, Western Kentucky University, Bass Tire, and Josh Houston and Associates. And we'd especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support. Brentwood High School and our fantastic host, Stewarts Creek High School. From our partner Bruno Reagan, Sammy Kincaid down on the sideline, and our fantastic crew out here in Rutherford County, I'm Lucas Panzica saying thank you for watching and good night. The final score from Stewarts Creek, Red Hawks 17, Brentwood 10 in overtime.
victory for us.